What's up, tricksters and tricksetas, watching another live VOD review presented by your favorite radiant coach, Charlatano Papito. Today at our coaching table, we have a tier 3 Discord sub, Oliverios, playing Omen on Haven in a Diamond 3 lobby. But this player is actually an Ascendant 3 peak protagonist. So we're gonna say that this is actually like an Ascendant 3 VOD review because he submitted this VOD at the start of, new episode. You get the point. He is actually Ascendant 3 right now. So let's see how we can help our friend Oliverios. So I've been a controller main for 2 years. As you should. Like, mastering controllers is very important in Valorant. I think that is one of the most important rules in ranked solo queue, because having a good and bad smoke can make a lot of difference when you're pushing something, executing something, retaking something. So understanding when to smoke, what to smoke, how to help your teammates is very important. Even if you're not maining controllers, you should understand and you should know for every single map and every single scenario what is a good, bad, or the best, most optimal smoke to have, to micromanage your teammates and to ask for the help, or to tell your teammates to change their smoke setups. I've been playing a combination of all the controller agents, except I'm not using Clove. Okay, I mean, Clove is S tier controller, not bad for solo queue grind. To be honest, up to Immortal 3, the only controller agents that I would never touch are like Viper and Harbor. Harbor for the obvious reasons, he is really underpowered compared to other controllers. Thank you for the Sabato. And when it comes to Viper, like, Viper got hit with some crazy nerfs. You know, the only map where you need to play Viper is still Breeze. And on Icebox, you need to play Viper after Immortal 3. But up to Immortal 3, like, Omen, Clove, Brimstone are superior controllers. In the last few weeks, I've decided to commit to one tricking Omen, as you should. Still, S+ tier agent in Valorant, the best agent for overall players improvement. Maybe you're not gonna improve your rank in terms of the rank as fast as possible, but once you master Omen, every single agent in the game is gonna feel like a piece of crap. It's gonna feel easy to master that character. Like, Omen is the most complex. Like, you need to think a lot. You need to have a great map awareness, great game awareness. Like, so it's a really good agent to master, because after Omen, the game becomes very easy. I've committed to one tricking Omen as an attempt to zone in on improving one agent and hopefully reach Immortal. Okay, Omen is still, like, as I said, like, one of the best agents to main in Valorant. S+ tier. So, yeah, I mean, majority of the players that I coached on Omen privately, they either, they improved for at least 30 to 40% in terms of their rank. Like, they went, like, I don't know, from Platinum to Immortal, from Ascendant to Immortal 3, stuff like that. Like, some people reached Radiant. It doesn't matter. In those last few weeks, I've been watching you and Dr. Freezy as an inspiration to incorporate into my playstyle, learning how to play aggressively and smoked efficiently. Okay, good choices. I mean, Dr. Freezy does have some fucked up setups that I would never use in my life, depending in which elo you play. Depending with what type of teammates you play, with what type of enemies you play, and in which rank you play, depends how you can actually play Omen. And in high elo lobbies, like, I don't know, he's playing Omen in some kind of a way that, I mean, that doesn't work. Like, you cannot, I mean, you can reach Radiant with that playstyle, but you need to adapt it for at least 20 to 30%. Like, I cannot tell you exactly with what type of setups I don't agree, because there's plenty of them. But yeah, I'm currently trying to improve communication. Be cautious. Be cautious. And I'm not saying that my setups are the best. I'm just saying that you adapt your playstyle based on who you're playing with and against. I'm currently trying to improve communication, gun hygiene, burst strafing, not insta-crouch spraying, and playing in specific positions to counter enemy patterns. Okay, that's good. That's good. Essentially, you know, before you reach Immortal 3 in Valorant, you really need to master. You need to develop your game knowledge, decision-making, team play, mechanical skill, and communication on a really high levels. Like, those should be the primary 5 skill sets that you want to master before reaching Immortal 3, if you want to even have a chance of reaching Radiant. And then when you're going from Immortal 3 to Radiant, you know, you need to focus more on overall adaptiveness. Focusing more on overall, like, mentality, smart gameplay, efficient gameplay, stuff like that. I want help with how to exploit my Omen utility and anything else that you believe could be holding me back. To be honest, like, when it comes to Omen, I mean, yeah, we're going to talk about the Omen during this VOD review. It is the, you know, at the end of the day, it's an Omen Haven VOD review, and we didn't have a Haven VOD review for a very long period of time. You know, Omen on Haven, I mean, I've explained how to play Omen on every single map in Valorant in my rank playbook. Be aware that, you know, some of the tips and some of the strategies are missing in the playbook because I either forgot to mention them or I'm keeping them for my private coaching sessions, you know. So, like, there's around, like, probably 10% of content that is useful and kinda missing, but the 90% of the most important stuff is there. I've been on Ascendant 1 peak for nearly 4 episodes, but that changed. Like, this and last act, he actually got Ascendant 3. So that's why I'm saying this is an Ascendant 3 VOD review, because he submitted this VOD in July 24th, and I'm reviewing it in 5th of September. Why? Because I went on a 3-week vacation. You know, I cannot do VOD reviews when I'm chilling on Bahamas, drinking my, you know, pina colada, brother, and enjoying my life without Valorant. Come on. Come on. This VOD is before I revise your Omen playbooks. If I feel like the VOD review was beneficial, then I'll most likely post another VOD in a month's time with hopefully a playstyle very similar to what is taught in the playbooks. Okay, we can do that. My goal is to reach Immortal 1 and become a solid Omen player. Your goal is to reach Radiant. Like, no. Like, fuck these, you know, long-term goal for every player should be Radiant in terms of the ranked solo queue. Don't diminish your, you know, accomplishments, your potential. Like, everyone in this game is capable of reaching Radiant. You don't have both arms. I don't care. You don't have both legs. I don't know how is that relevant. You don't have both eyes. You can reach Radiant. Literally, like, this is the only game right now in which solo queue carry potential actually exists, one of the rare games, and where you can actually control a lot. But a lot. Even if you're not like a top tier player, like, you know, the some kind of an unknown prodigy, essentially. Like, in a long run, you can reach Radiant. And in a long run, that should be your goal. But it is always healthy to have short-term goals. And to mainly focus on the short-term goals. You know, let's improve this during a specific time period. Let's try to reach this rank during this specific period of time. Because if you only focus on the long-term goal, and you're not even close to it, then, you know, like, things can get very rough mentally for you. Like, that's the worst thing that people do, like, in gyms. Like, I want to look like this. Okay, you want to look like that, but, you know, you want to look like Chris Bumstead? Okay, no problem. You know, Greg Doucette? No problem. You can maybe do that. Maybe. We don't know. Like, but what we can guarantee is that you're going to try your best. You're trying to reach your maximum peak physique. And at some moment of time, you're going to do that. Even if you don't achieve that physique, you're going to be satisfied with your progress. If you complete your short-term goals. Let's see, you know, what our friend Oliverios was doing in the previous months and previous years. So he did start playing Valorant, you know, in episode 3, act 1. But, I mean, his playtime was mega inconsistent. Generally, your playtime is mega giga. Giga biga. Inconsistent. Like, this is something that you cannot do if you want to have a significant progress in Valorant, and if you want to have a significant progress in terms of your ranks as well. Like, let me give you a small talk. How to have healthy, or let's say smart, grind in Valorant. So number one thing that you need to do is your account, if you have more than, let's say, 60 hours to play Valorant during an act, play on at 2 accounts simultaneously. I hope that this is how we write it. So, that's the first tip. This kind of fixes a lot of the problems when it comes to matchmaking balance, when it comes to the health of your accounts, when it comes to your mental health as well. I've explained this concept in my consistency guide on YouTube, so you can just watch my consistency guide. Number 2, important tip. You want to have a consistent grind that supports, that is mainly focused towards quality over quantity. Now, what I mean by this, putting in enormous amount of hours into Valorant. You know, you play like 400 hours of Valorant during an act, and you only play ranked. Maybe you're gonna improve, and maybe you're gonna reach Radiant. But that is something that we call like brute forcing. Like, brute forcing things is always bad, because those type of grinds usually lead to burnouts, and if the grind is not successful, or we don't achieve significant improvements with that type of a grind, then players might get mentally, you know, disabled. And that's how you get a lot of mentally disabled players in Ascendant and Immortal Elo, and in Valorant in general. So, like, it is much better to have a slow, consistent, gradual progress that is focusing on overall quality rather than rushing things out. Fixing things one step at a time. Grinding ranks one act at a time. Stuff like that. So, one of the worst things you can do in Valorant is one act, you play 200 hours, and then the next act, you're burnt out, you don't want to touch the game anymore, you don't have a willpower to play anymore, and that's it. Or, during those 200 hours, you didn't achieve the goal that you wanted to achieve, and you didn't improve enough as a player because you didn't do any other training except playing the fucking ranked games 24/7. That will also lead to the burnout, and that will also provide diminishing returns. So, what is a consistent quality grind? First of all, the minimum optimal amount of games that you should play is 3 ranked games per day, every single day. Like, when you're grinding from Iron 1 to Immortal 3, you don't need more than 3 games of Valorant per day, every single day. From Immortal 3 to Radiant, you will have to bump up this playtime a bit more, you know, maybe by 20 or 30%. Like, you know, instead of playing 3 games, like maybe 5, for an example. But playing 3 games where you're 120% focused, ready to win, you're not surrendering, you wanna win that game no matter who you're playing against and with, that's this quality match. That's like, literally, it doesn't matter how toxic your teammates are, like, you're just putting it all in those 3 games. Like having some resting periods of time, stuff like that. So, that's more than enough. Not more than, that's like optimal. You can play 5 games, you can play 9 games, but, you know, it's always good if you have some kind of a breaks. There's this another topic here. If you're playing a lot of games per day, take breaks and reset yourself in between gaming sessions. So, what should you do is like, let's say you have like 9 games to play during a day. Split those 9 games in 3 gaming sessions. Play 3 games. Early evening, 3 games in the evening, 3 games at the night, and that's it. Like, stuff like that. Or 3 games in the morning, 3 games in the morning, 3 games in the evening, 3 games in the night. For an example, I have some kind of a resting period of time in between the games. So you can refresh yourself and get ready for another grind. And before every gaming session, you should have a proper warm-up before every gaming session. 10, 15, 20 minutes maximum. Focusing on every single aspect of mechanical skill that you're using in Valorant. You know, you can do maybe like 1 round of a deathmatch, 1 round of a team deathmatch, and some kind of an in-game practice, like in a practice range. And maybe like 5 minutes of aim labs. That should be around like 20 minutes in total. Not more than that, like 20 to maximum 30 minutes, but 30 minutes is already too much. You should also have a proper daily aim training routine, or at least two or 3 times per week. So what is a proper aim training routine? Essentially, like, you know, in between your gaming sessions or after a gaming session, you focus on your core mechanical problems. Static aim, micro corrections, micro adjustments, large angle flicks, tracking, like whatever you're missing the most, you know, make some kind of a routine for yourself in aim labs, Kovacs, in-game, and work on these problems. Now, another thing that a quality grind and consistent grind should have is doing consistent VOD reviews and self-reflections. You know, just at least, let's say like 2 times per week, you should take a moment of time to VOD review yourself, to see what type of mistakes you're making, how can you fix your mistakes, or VOD review other players that play the same agents on the same maps as you are, and see how can you incorporate their solutions within your gameplay. For an example, another thing that you should have for a quality consistent grind is like doing some kind of a general training routine. This doesn't need to be too much. You know, you don't need to spend like enormous amount of time in a custom server or practicing utility usage, stuff like that. But it is good to have some kind of a general training routine that is at least like 1 hour on every, at least 1 time, at least 2 times per week as well. Like something where you focus on your core gameplay problems, essentially. Now, it is also very important. It is also very important that you keep your account healthy. Now, what is a healthy account in Valorant? Valorant really likes a consistent grind and a smart grind. Like, there is a smart way of grinding video games and a dumb way of grinding video games. First of all, you should absolutely avoid playing or minimize playing the ranked matches in the first week of every act if you are below Immortal 3 or Radiant. First 7 days don't exist for you. You should maybe play 1 match or 2 games maximum on your main account every single day, but not more than that. You can play on your second account, practicing a bit and keeping up with your game sense, game knowledge, and keeping yourself in the game. But on the main account, I would always avoid playing the first 7 days. And also, I would avoid playing ranked matches in the last 4 to 7 days of an act. Why so? Because the lobbies become mental torture. Ranks are getting resetted. MMR is getting balanced a bit. You don't know. And you just don't know who you're playing with and against. Like, literally, the lobbies are so unbalanced that it's a pure gamble playing in the first 7 and the last 7 days of an act. If you didn't achieve your dream, your goal during an act, don't try to do it in the last 4 to 7 days. You're not gonna do it. Maybe you will if you get lucky, but it's just based on luck. Because in the last 4 to 7 days, you play with the players that are unsatisfied, that are hard stuck during that act, potentially. They didn't achieve their goals. They don't give a shit. You're maybe playing with the players that achieved their goals. They don't give a fuck anymore. If I get Radiant during an act, why the fuck would I give any flippin' F if I win or lose the games in the last 7 days? Whatever. I have a Radiant Triangle. I got a Radiant Gun Buddy. I'm not playing for money. I'm not nothing. Why would I play seriously? I don't need to, essentially. So, first 7, last 7 days, take a bit of a break, focus on everything else. Reduce your rank playtime. Another thing that you should do is avoid playing Valorant on your main account when you don't have enough time to play the game. Why? Because you're resetting your rank and MMR for no reason. I mean, MMR impact is minimal, it doesn't really matter, but the rank is the problem. So, look at here. Basically, if I don't have time to play Valorant here and here, or here, I wouldn't play Valorant at all. So essentially, if you don't have, let's say, I'm gonna put it this way. This is the rule. If you don't have at least minimum 60 to 120 hours to play during an episode, don't play on your main account during that episode. Especially if you're resetting your rank for no reason. One of the worst things that you can do when you're seriously grinding Valorant is consistently resetting the rank of your main account. Like, for example, here, he got Ascendant 1. This is a really good example. He got Ascendant 1 this act. Then he didn't even complete his placement matches. He played a bit, but he didn't reset the rank. Then he reset his rank here, goal 3. But during this act, he didn't grind enough to get back on his peak rank again. And then the grind during this act, during this episode, was 10 times harder because he was just grinding to get back to his peak rank. So if you don't have time to play during an episode, don't play on your main account, play on a second account. Do something else. Don't reset your rank for no reason. Literally, it's just absolutely stupid. That you're constantly putting your account back, and back, further back, in terms of the rank from which you're starting your grind again. For no reason. Like, for example, here, if he didn't play this act seriously, if he didn't play these 18 hours, he would have finished this act in Diamond 1, then, he would have started at, Gold 3, Platinum. It's just stupid. Have a consistent grind with a consistent playtime. That's why this is not good. I mean, this is not a consistent grind. This is a mega inconsistent grind. Now, why am I talking about all of this? Is because of this shit. he put enormous amount of hours already. He played 38 matches in the first 7 days of an act. You're cooked, brother. You are cooked. Especially if you're playing in an Ascendant and Diamond Elo. One match, you might be playing with real Ascendants, real Diamonds, low Immortals. The other match, enemies in their team might have a Radiant player, essentially. So, I would highly advise you to stay away from grinding Valorant in at least first 7 days of an act. Like, play only after the ranks balance out a bit. You know, after the people get into the grind and lobbies get balanced a bit more. Like, this is insanity, man. Playing so much Valorant in the first 7 days. We're not going to look at this. I don't care about this. Let's look at his... Oh, Jesus Christus, man. Okay, listen here. With 337 matches during 2 months. Like, I guarantee you that this guy didn't do a single VOD review. He didn't do enough training. Like, you improve yourself in Valorant. Like, 50% of your improvement is outside of the game. 50% of your improvement is inside of the ranked matches. And if you're not doing that other 50% of stuff that you need to do, your progress is going to be significantly slower. Maybe you can brute force your way to Radiant. But for most players, it's going to be mega painful and not worth it at all. So here, you know, we need to find some good training for you to do. You need to reduce your playtime a bit and focus more on this concept of, you know, smart grind, healthy grind, essentially. Now, when it comes to his statistics, his stats, first of all, ADR optimal. Okay, 137, Ascendant 3. He is contesting the enemies. He is fighting back. He is dealing enough damage to, you know, close out his rounds, essentially. 1 KD on a verge of being bad. On a verge of being bad. And usually, you know, this type of a KD combined with this type of a KST just tells us that this player is dying at least 2 or 3 times during every single match in a fight that he should either not take, or that he should not fight, or that he should have fought in a different way. So, you know, like, at least 2 or 3 deaths within your gameplay are preventable every single match. And we will see what are your core problems. CHARLATAN, I'll admit the VOD is probably a bit outdated. I feel like I've improved a fair bit since I posted it. Listen, man, like, I'm gonna do your VOD review tomorrow. Anyways, today I'm just doing a tracker review. You have 24 hours to give me a new VOD if you want me to review, you know, something else for you. We can change it, no problem, man. Just send me a new VOD. It's all good. Now, essentially, his KST is suboptimal. You know, not bad. Not optimal. It's okay. It's okay. Just, you know, 73% combined with 1 KD just tells us that, essentially, you know, there's at least 2 or 3 deaths that are preventable for him, and 2 or 3 rounds where he can do something better in order to win the matches. You know, 2 or 3 rounds can decide the outcome of the whole game in Valorant. The mentality of your team, the economy of the whole match. That's a lot. That is impactful, essentially. When it comes to some of his mechanical stats, like, I mean, this is quite solid, you know, for a low Immortal, high Ascendant player, like, this guy should be able to contest even, like, high Immortal 3 players. Like, it doesn't matter that much, to be honest, at this point. He has 53% win rate, very good, but I think that with this many played, with this many games played, it could have been even better. Like, it could have been even better, to be honest. Clutch percentage is abominable, like abysmal. Like 1.9% is really bad. Like this number for an Ascendant player should be at least 5%. Minimum 4%. But it should be between 6 and 4% in an optimal way. Like, you should be able to win a 1v1 clutch and a 1v2 clutch 60% of times. 60% of times. Combined. Like, not enough. Not enough. Now, another thing that is bad for this guy is the amount of last deaths. Okay, we're slowly getting into the high elo. But we're still in a medium elo. Medium elo in Valorant is in between Ascendant 1 and Immortal 2. Immortal 3. You need to stay alive more. You need to close out the rounds a bit more. Like, essentially, if you're not alive in this elo, only God knows with, like, essentially all the way from Iron 1 to Immortal 3, all the way up to high elo lobbies, you cannot trust your teammates ever with anything. Especially in this medium elo, where players are, I mean, you're gonna meet a variety of players. There's a lot of boosted accounts here. There's a lot of players that don't give a shit anymore. They have been hardstack in Ascendant and Immortal for 4 years. They don't care. If you're not alive to win the matches in rounds, you might as well pray to God to win those matches in rounds. Like, a good ratio between the matches and last deaths is 4-1. In every single match, you should have at least 4 rounds where you're last alive. And you're actually controlling the outcome of your rounds. And you are able to achieve that with any agent. During the post plants. During the retakes. Even if you're playing duelists. Omen. Even, like, it doesn't matter who you're playing. You're able to achieve this in ranked solo queue. If you follow the proper ranked team play. Based on what type of teammates you have. Essentially. So, as I said previously, you know, my friend Oliverios has at least, like, I don't know, man, like 2 or 3 deaths that fuck him up. Like 2 or 3 rounds every single match that actually decide, maybe potentially decide, the outcome of his games. Now, when it comes to other stats, like, I mean, everything else looks okay, not that bad. On attack, he's okay. On defense, he's okay. Like, I mean, both his attack and defense are not that good. You know, they're not optimal, but they're above average. Or just average, essentially. You know, like, there's nothing specific that you should focus on. I mean, you need to focus on everything. Like, you know, like, both your attack and defense can get, like, I don't know, 15 to 20% time better. Okay, not 20, but 10 to 15% time. And that 10 to 15% of improvement is gonna mean a lot for you to reach, like, Immortal 3 as soon as possible. But it's not bad. It's not bad, definitely. When it comes to the main agents, Omen, not bad. Brimstone Zinho, Sova feeling, Viper feeling, Claw Phoenix, like, I don't know, man, like, I mean, to be honest, like, first of all, I don't know where the fuck you play Brimstone. Like, up to Immortal 3, Omen is like a Giga Chad on every map where you would usually play Brimstone. I would not even touch Brimstone. The only map where I would play Brimstone is, like, instead of Omen, is like Bind. And only in the high elo lobbies. Viper, as I said, like, Omen is really good on icebooks. Really good on ice. Mega good on icebooks. If you use the strategies from my rank playbook. Like, up to Immortal 3 and high elo lobbies. You don't need Viper, bro. Trust me. Like, Viper is only necessary still on Breeze. I mean, on Breeze, we don't have any other solution. I wouldn't touch Harbor in my life on that map. I mean, in ranked solo queue. So, like, let me see, like, where do you play, like, these agents? Haven, Omen, okay, good. Abyss. On Abyss, like, I mean, to be honest, Astra is the best, but you cannot really play Astra, you know, in Ascendant 3 in Immortal 1. That's a suicide, you know, move. Omen is okay on Abyss. Like, he's not the best, not the worst. Like, he can work. Sure, fine. I mean, anyways, on that map, you need to have a double controller setup. Like, you need to have two controllers, essentially. Viper can kinda... Viper is a good pick on Abyss, but once again, I wouldn't touch Viper until Immortal 3. Ascent, Omen, Bind... I really don't know why would you play Brimstone on Bind? like, the best map for Omen is Bind. The best map. If you're not finding a high win rate on Bind with Omen, I don't know what you're doing, to be honest. Icebooks, as I said, like, if you follow the tips and rules that I've shared in my rank playbook for Icebooks, you should be able to have a high win rate on that map. Like, there's a lot of crazy strategies, good setups, like, insane map for the Omen. Just after, you know, Immortal 3, you really need that, you need like Viper in the team. And Lotus and Sunset, I mean, like, you have a lot of problems on these two maps, especially Sunset. On Sunset, you play like shit. Sunset can get much better for you. I don't know what's happening on Sunset. Maybe you just got a bit unlucky with the teammates that you got. But, I mean, Omen is really good on Sunset. There's a lot of good setups. Like, it's probably, like, more of a map problem rather than an agent problem. Overall, like, you know, what I would recommend you is keep the Omen as your main agent up to Immortal 3. And I would actually try to find some other fill and flex picks. You know? I would not only focus on controllers. Like, I would focus on Omen as a main character, but maybe try, like, Gecko. You know? Try Gecko. Try, like, Cypher, maybe, on some maps. Like, try, like, maybe some Duelist. Just to expand yourself a bit more, and to have additional slots and additional picks that can essentially, like, develop your whole playstyle in Valorant. Like, you know what I would do is, like, if I'm already maining Omen, I would definitely give a chance to, like, Jet, Raze, Chamber, Yoru, those type of agents, you know? Maybe like, I mean, Clove is not working for you, so maybe, like, Gecko, Cypher. Gecko especially, like, Gecko is really good, and I see that you play some of the initiators. I don't know why you play Sova. Just blocking Gecko. Gecko is far more versatile and better right now. For grind between, like, Ascendant 3 to Immortal 3. Like, all of the tips that I'm giving you is like, I just want you to get Immortal 3 as soon as possible. And also the training and all of the additional tips that I'm gonna give this guy are gonna be like, our main goal is to get you to Immortal 3. Like, I'm not, like, going from Immortal 3 to Radiant is a completely different story. Essentially. Now, when it comes to the loadouts, eco rounds are terrible. Like, this is unacceptable. If remaining Omen, like, you need to have at least 1 KD, and you need to find some solutions how to have 1 KD. My rank playbook is filled with good solutions for eco rounds, so try to apply them. Like, Shorty should be one of your primary weapons. You play like a kamikaze. You get into the face of the enemies. Trade yourself for the kills. Don't be afraid to die. Like, come on, man. Pistol rounds cannot look like this. like your impact in pistol rounds is 0. Like the main two things that you need to focus on is playing pistols better and play eco rounds better. Like changing something there. Either the way how you play them, the mindset, strategies that you perform, guns that you use. We need to find some kind of a solution for that. And, you know, you have my rank playbook as I said. But also, I'm gonna share with you some of my private coaching videos that are gonna help you specifically with playing pistol and eco rounds a bit better. When it comes to the weapon variety, a bit shit. You know, way too many kills on Vandal and Phantom and like 500 kills on Vandal and Phantom. And the third most used weapon, Classic Pistol. And my guy is maining Omen. Where the fuck is Shorty like? It doesn't exist. When you're maining Omen, especially Omen, I don't even want to talk about other agents, but especially Omen, Shorty should be the first weapon that you master and that you implement within your gameplay. As a primary and primary secondary weapon. Then like Stinger, one of the best anti-eco, halba and bonus weapons for Omen on claustrophobic maps. Judge as well on Bind and some of the maps. Outlaw, the best anti-eco weapon on a defender side on any map in Valorant. Operator, like you're playing Omen. No, but I'm not playing Jet. I don't have a dash. Brother, you have 2 teleports. Like you can reposition yourself so fast on a defender side, enemies don't know from which angle you're gonna kill them. Like, you need to improve yourself on this weapon. And get better with Operator and Snipers. Like, free Elo sticks. Odin as well. You're playing these paper maps, like Lotus, Ascendant, Haven. Odin can be such a great solution for the rounds where team play is not possible. You know, where your teammates are getting fucked on defenders or attacker side to get some cheesy kills. Like, Operator, Outlaw, Stinger, Odin, Shorty. These 5 weapons, you need to put more focus on mastering them. Because these weapons will give you higher levels of versatility, very free kills in Valorant, and very free numbers advantage that you can use to close out the rounds and matches. Like, Valorant is all about, like, you know, simplifying your gameplay, being a versatile player, diversifying your playstyles, abusing any means necessary to improve and reach higher ranks, and abusing anything that is meta or anything that is easy to abuse to rank up. And that's it. That is Valorant, essentially. And following a certain set of rules that are set in stone and that we need to follow for a smart and efficient grind. There's around 100 of them and those rules change, you know, depending like in which rank and which elo you play. And that's it. It's not a rocket science. It's not a MOBA game. It's not you know, that complex. It is complex, but not that complex, essentially. So, I mean, that's kind of it. That's kind of it. Now, let's see, you know, what Oliverios presented to us in his VOD. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there has been a change when it comes to this VOD review. We're actually doing an Ascendant 3 Omen main VOD review on Lotus. He decided to, you know, like, essentially change his VOD from Haven to Lotus, so it is actually a Lotus. And, you know, we can I don't know what I want to say. There's not the end. So, let's speak about the Lotus. So we're starting on a defender side, and let me give you a small TLDR about how you should play Lotus in low elo and medium elo lobbies. So first of all, your default bomb site and number 1 priority is A site. Number 2 priority, C site. Number 3 priority, B site. Essentially, the first round, you always want to start on A and play on A site. And remember that on Lotus, in the first 4 rounds, on a defender side, you don't want to aggress the enemies. You don't want to fight for the C-long and aim and control. You can try to contest the enemies from some default off angles and positions, but don't commit to taking it. Now, there's a lot of reasons why you should do that. Reason number 1, especially in the first round, you don't have enough utility and gun power to take and to control the aim and area of the map. It's just pointless. And also, if our gamble that enemies are gonna push A is wrong, we're gonna waste all of our utility for the retake during that aim in push. It is much better to tuck yourself in, play the 5v5 retakes, still gamble on the A set, like we're trying to take a kill on A set, and I'm gonna showcase you how, but it's not worth it. And in the first 4 rounds, you should play a bit more passively. Don't take aim and C long or, you know, B main control, and primarily try to fuck up the enemies from some passive off angles and with some passive strategies. Now, from the 4th round, from the first full buy round, where both you and the enemies are full buy, you need to ask yourself, is this passive playstyle working or not? If it is not working, if enemies are just destroying you with utility on the bomb sites, and essentially you don't have a single response to the enemy's executes, you need to fight for the aim in and C long control. We need to pressure the enemies back, obviously, depending where we think enemies are going to go next. And if it is working, keep doing what's working until it stops working. And when it stops working, try it one more time, because you never know in a game of Valorant if something is a matter of luck or just matter of skill, until you try it a few times. Now, in a second round on Lotus, basically, if you lose the first round, you always play on the A side. And if you win the first round, you always start passively on the B side, and you play a fast rotations between C and A. Essentially, on Lotus on the defender side, whenever enemies are eco or hull buy on the attacker side, you always want to start on B and play faster rotations towards C and A. Because 80% of times on Lotus, when enemies are playing some kind of an eco hull buy round, they will try to finish on either C side or B side. And that is the best gamble that we can actually take during those rounds. And generally speaking, on Lotus, whenever you're, second guessing where the enemies are going to go, like you're not sure if enemies are going to go A or B, B or C, or A or C, if your teammates are playing passively, you can just start on B and simply play a faster rotations to support your allies. Other than that, everything else related to the Lotus we will discuss during the VOD review. Now, in the first round with Omen, you can play the first round in so many different ways. Like, first thing that you can do, buy a sheriff, literally a sheriff, hold this passive angle in this specific way, try to get 1 or 2 one-taps, rotate towards the A side, one-way smoke the rotating doors for your teammates, hold this angle, try to go for 1 more one-tap, hold this angle and fight at the rotating doors with your teammates, and that's it. If enemies are pushing C, give your teammates a default smoke to stop the enemy C push, like either this one or the one-way smoke up here. And just rotate fast through the CT to assist your teammates. You can also buy a ghost with 2 smokes and 1 shrouded step for the same strategy, essentially. Now, also we can be a bit more creative, in the first round. One thing that I really like to do in low elo and medium elo is a classic pistol shorty strategy with Omen if I'm playing A set in the first round. So basically, you can start your round here. This box is not spammable anymore. You can still spam it if you're standing like this, but enemies need to have a sheriff, they can also do it with a medium pen weapon, but they're not dealing that much damage. So, you start the round there, buy a classic, shorty, and you have 2 options. You either buy a light shield with 1 shrouded step, and that's it. You're playing light shield, shorty, 1 shrouded step, and 1 smoke. Or, you can buy Two smokes, paranoia, one shrouded step and shorty. Essentially, you're waiting for the enemies to come towards you. You deploy the smoke that looks exactly like this. Basically, the smoke needs to give you a cubby position right here, where you can hide and dodge the enemies' random spam and random utility. And then you're just, you know, jiggle peeking in and out of this smoke, waiting for the enemies to push you in, bob up, take one cheesy kill, get the fuck out. Reposition towards your allies, and that's it. The second smoke, you can simply position for the one way for the rotating doors to support your teammates if enemies are going through the rotating doors. Anyways, you need to remember that in the first round, on any map in Valorant on a defender side, your job is not to stop the enemy's push alone onto the bomb site. Your job is to waste as much time as possible from the enemy team, potentially get a kill by abusing some cheesy strategy, off angle or setup, turtle in, get the fuck out, play the retake with your teammates. And that's it. You can do the same thing at the rotating doors. Like, you can just play here with a classic and shorty. And whenever enemies are moving through the rotating doors, just do a smoke like this. And play here. The doors are rotating, ba 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 ba. We can dodge the dogs, all of the flashes and utility through the smoke. And then ba ba, take and kill. We can TP on top of the doors. If enemies are still pushing in, we can still kill them. Or, if you buy a shrouded steps with a paranoia, 2 smokes without a light shield, you can just flash the enemies back and just kill them, you know. Kill any remaining enemies that are pushing through the doors. And then we can just do a smoke there, or a one-way smoke, and that's it. And in all of these case scenarios, if enemies are pushing C, just be ready to give your teammates a fast smoke, you know, to delay or prevent the enemy's push on C. I mean, you're not gonna prevent it, but maybe you're gonna support your ally that is on the bomb site. Other than that, personally, I wouldn't do any other shit with Omen. So let's see what our friend is gonna do in this VOD review.
Hey guys.
Okay. We're playing passively. Oh, okay, we're doing this strat. Let's see how he's gonna do it.
Hey.
Okay, this might be really good. Oh, listen. The whole point of playing a shotgun at the rotating doors is to let the enemies come into your shotgun. Like, why would you one-way this position when you want enemies to push in the smoke? You want the enemies to contest you. This smoke is gonna reduce their confidence to push in. There's no way if enemies push through this one-way smoke, I mean, you can kill them with a ghost as well. Why did you buy a shorty?
It's pushing.
Cover going out.
Yeah.
Cover going out.
I don't know why you did this smoke. Like, this smoke definitely, like, reduce the enemy's confidence to even open the doors.
Pushing tree.
Maybe stairs.
They could go B. They're gonna go B.
And by the way, like, I didn't mention, personally, like, I think it is better if you're playing this strategy in the first round right here, where I showcased you. Because that is usually gonna be the first contact between your team and the enemies. Like, so when you're playing this first round strategy, play it here from now on. And then later on during the match you can try playing in the tree as well. Because in the tree you can always just one-way smoke, and that completely reduces any chances of enemies taking the tree control. Like, they really need to spam it with utility to move in. But here they're gonna have the confidence to push in. Even if they have a smoke like this, they're gonna come.
I'm pounding for you.
Okay,
He's blind, he's blind, he's blind.
Okay, in the first rounds are the most important rounds for you in a game of Valorant. One of the most important rounds. How you play them dictates your economy, dictates your mentality, your teammates' mentality, confidence, everything. Like here, we cannot make mistakes. We are 3 versus 3. We're not gonna play alone, right? Right now, we don't need map control. Like when I'm 3v3 in a pistol round, I don't give a shit about map control. I don't give a shit about anything except playing a proper refrag game with my Gecko and with my Killjoy. And in the first round, you really need to pay attention on a proper refrag game. We have semi-automatic weapons. We cannot go for some monkey plays. It's really hard to contest 2 enemies in the same time, especially with a classic pistol. So here, I hope we're gonna go CT. Especially now.
Omen put on sides. Mid HP.
What? Like, I understand. You want to take more space. But the result of this round is gonna be 10 times easier for us. And we will have 10 times higher chances if you just all play from the tower. Our one smoke is getting replenished. We can smoke the spike, burst through the tower together, and win this round together. Like right now, you're just isolating a 50-50 fight. Why? Like, fuck it, bro. Like, just run towards the CT. Who the fuck cares where are the enemies? Like, as long as we play together, we're gonna win this round.
A flash.
Okay, that's good. Someone's there. Nice, boss.
Especially, you know, your Gecko had a flash. That's a free information for you.
Both.
Last player standing.
Like, you should have been there with your Killjoy and Gecko, like, 20 seconds ago. 15, 20, I don't know. Like, in the first round, fuck the map control, fuck splitting the enemies, fuck taking any 50-50 fights. You want to take only cheesy gunfights that work in your favor. And you want to take the fights together with your teammates. And that's it. Like, nothing else. As long as you play a proper refrag game, you use the life of your teammates to fight together, you can win that round.
Ending. One enemy remaining.
Was also there.
You go see.
Spike planted.
Listen, when you're going for a 1v1 retake onto the seaside, the worst position from which you can go for a retake is the waterfall. But literally, the you know, it's a middle position. Why? Because once you end up here, you're exposed from a lot of different angles. You know, if you just went through the doors right now, yes, you give away your position. Like, but we can clear the angles methodically. Because Gecko is planting the spike here, he cannot be backside. We can be really fast and cut off this rotation. So he can only be here, and we can isolate these angles much better. We can drop the smoke on top of the spike, half defuse it, check waterfall, then check CT, and that's it. If we're going from the CT, same. We can clear the angles one by one. We can move into the bomb site, check all of these positions, and now Gecko can only be waterfall or in the spawn. We can smoke the spike, and you know, after we can maybe stick the defuse. Pros never fake. I mean, sticking the defuse is, I don't know, I guess like 70% times better than half defusing the spike. It works. You know, people never expect the insta defuse, but we can half defuse it and just peek out, check the waterfall, check the main, and we only need to worry about these positions, which is once again much easier than what we're doing right now. Right now, Gecko can be on the... I mean, sorry, it's not the Gecko, it's enemy Omen. But, I mean, Omen is just stupid and he reveals himself, I guess. That teleport was mega risky. Like, I mean, like, I don't know what was the plan there. Like, you saw that Omen was here. As far as I heard, enemy Omen didn't use the shrouded steps at all. We don't know if he repositioned towards the CT. Like, teleporting into that smoke was a suicide. And anyways, using that smoke was really bad. Like, why would you do that? Like, much better idea in this type of 1v1s is to keep the gunfights clean, especially if you know already the location of that enemy Omen. Like for example here, much better decision would have been if you actually one-wayed this spot so that Omen cannot peek you from the right side at all. Like, he's not gonna have the confidence to do this. Like, I mean, it's a bad one-way, but in low and medium elo, like, usually people don't have the confidence for that. I mean, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, at the end of the day, you didn't even need a smoke. Or maybe what you could have done is just some random smoke on the site, like this. Fake shrouded steps to reveal him, and now make him guess. Did he teleport? Did he not teleport? Like in 1v1s, I use like tons of fake shrouded steps, and people just, I don't know, they fall for them like 70 to 80% of times. And even if they don't fall, that woman is under pressure. He is shaking. He doesn't know, like, is he inside of it or is he not? Where the fuck he teleported? But here, like, I don't know, man, like, I mean, you saw the guy. You saw the guy at this position. You don't know if he repositioned. This is a smoke that is way too close to the enemy Omen. I mean, if you already wanted to teleport somewhere, I would not have teleported into the smoke. I would have teleported outside of it and then enter the smoke with a gun out and pressure that Omen. But at the end of the day, in this round, you should not have ended up in a 1 versus 1 scenario to begin with. If you just played with a Gecko and Killjoy, we would have won this round. We would have won this round 100%. Already on the B side. Now, if you lose the first round of Lotus, second round always gamble on A side. Players just have the mentality where if enemies are equal and held by on this map, on a defender side, people usually push A in this second round on the attacker side. So chances right now are like around 70% that enemies are gonna go A, and around 30% that enemies are gonna go either C or B. So in this round with Omen, we can just repeat some classic shorty shit. Like you can buy a classic shorty, play here. You can buy a classic shorty and play here. You know, you can bait the enemies to come, then do the smoke like this, and then play here. If the enemies are close, go for a kamikaze play, take a kill. If you survive, bonus points. If you don't survive, your job is done. Anyways. I mean, there's so many smoke setups. I explained everything in my ranked playbook on Discord server. Like, there's so many good shits you can do. Like, you can also start the round in the A main, jump spot the enemies, bait them a bit, and then, you know, do this smoke when the enemies are moving in, and play here. And then when the enemies are in the tree, pop out, take 3 kills. Like, you can maybe get 1 or 2 kills. Maybe there's only 1 enemy here, and then you get a kill, pick up his gun, and now we can actually, like, you know, have a higher chance of winning this round. And if enemies are, you know, end up on B or C, in this round, if you're playing movement agents, always stay with a shorty and go for some crazy kamikaze play with shrouded steps and smoke. Hello, thank you for the playbooks. My Omen and Icebox has been improved a lot. No problem, man. My job is that. My job is... personally, I would save this aggro shit for some future rounds. And especially if your teammates want to fight aggressively for aim and control. Play this round as well passively. They don't showcase this to the enemies. That you like doing the close smoke and, you know, and getting inside of it. Like this type of shit you want to do essentially like when your teammates start fighting a bit more aggro for the aim main, and maybe in some kind of a round, like you can do this smoke, close smoke, get inside of it with the Bucky, Judge, and Stinger, and try to get a few free kills. But in this specific round, you know, I wouldn't do it. as I said, like, bro, I wanna sneeze so hard. I cannot explain how hard I wanna sneeze. So, in the in the second round, just play passively and that's it. I have some allergy on something, man, and then it's so fucked up. Like, and also, like, if you want to go for an aggressive play here, I highly recommend you, like, to basically use the smoke instantly as the round starts, like this. Use the shrouded steps here, and then get in the smoke. And then, you know, you can pop out, bop bop. Bop bop. If you have a stinger, with a bucky, maybe you get 2 kills. I don't know. Now, as I said, like, on a defender side, if you're playing against the enemies that are playing bonus, eco, half by round on the attack, start on the B side and play fast rotations between A and C. So in this round, where you should have started is you can start passively on B like this, holding this tight pixel angle here. When you're holding these tight pixel angles, like, we're not holding them to always get a kill. Like, those are 70-30, 90-10 gunfights, where only 30 to 10% of times you're gonna get a kill. You're just holding it for the fast information. And if enemies decide to go C, you know, we can also give our teammates an instant Paranoimus Rex and then rotate safely towards our teammates. But also, you know, you can start it. I would have started this round here as well. It's totally fine. And holding that angle in that way.
Cover going out.
Smoke it.
Yeah.
Looking main for you.
And, you know, this is also the reason why I would start on B, because, you know, there's always a chance enemies are gonna split B. There's always a chance that enemies are gonna go A. Like, in these type of rounds, you just want to focus on fast rotations from the B side. And that's it.
Careful.
Pushing on your
Remember one tip. It is always much more important for you to smoke the rotating doors and to keep the control of the tree rather than smoking this shit. So this one-way smoke here is much more important than this smoke here. As long as we have the tree control, we can kill the enemies in some kind of a crossfire as they're moving into the bomb site. They need to be aware of this peak, this angle, this angle, this angle. As soon as we lose the tree control, even if your teammates have a smoke here, your teammates are going to get pushed back into the bomb site, and enemies only need to worry about this, this, and this. And they eliminate one angle completely. If you have one smoke, do it for the rotating doors and leave this open. It's totally fine. Sometimes even better.
Definitely.
Especially if the enemies are eco and halby.
I'm not convinced yet.
Listen, because you said this, I'm not convinced here. In the first 4 rounds, on any map in Valorant. Okay, first 3 rounds. Always do fast rotations. Don't flank, don't lurk. Just do fast rotations. Like a gamble that enemies are always gonna play together as 5, and they will be committing to the bomb site that they initially started pushing. It is much better a gamble than doing what you're doing right now. Like, the reason for that is the following. Number 1, you cannot trust your teammates. I have no fucking idea how good or how bad our teammates are in this specific match. If I stay on this spot, as long as you did, first of all, I don't know why did you even push towards the enemies? Enemies have specters, stingers, sheriffs, classic pistols, bulldogs. You want to extend the range between you and the enemies. Why would you teleport in this shit? Doesn't make any sense. Now, play faster rotations in the first 3 to 4 rounds. through the safest and shortest route possible between you and your allies. Just rotate fast. You, especially in Ascendant and Low Immortal, you will play with a variety of monkeys. A variety. From God tier players to players that just lost all of the hope in ranking up. Like, and you will have to support them, protect them, and use their life to refrag them 24/7. So, here. Like, I'm gonna tell you when you should have started rotating. So, we did this one-way smoke. You're feeling set flash A. I am selling the C-long control, and I'm going A. And by the way, in this round, you know, whenever you're not certain whether or not enemies are committing to some push, whenever you take some space from the enemies, let's say you take a space, like this is actually a very important tip. Listen here. So, whenever you take a space from the enemies in some kind of a main area of the map, and you don't know if all of the enemies are pushing the opposite part of the map, never rotate from that main area of the map by making the sound. So if you take the C-long control and enemies are pushing A, don't do this. Don't give the enemies information that you're rotating. Instead of that, you know, walk away until the sound circle is out of this range. And now, when we're out of the range, we can start running. Because a lot of the players make a mistake, like, I don't know, you take the aim and control, and enemies have one guy that is listening to the sound. Here, you take the full aim and control, and then you know, you're holding this. Some of the enemies are faking or pushing C, and you do this. What was the point of taking aim and control then?
Smoke it.
If enemies are gonna get that info, potentially.
Pushing on your flanks.
And this was such an aggressive play, like in a wrong moment of time. Remember that the one-way smoke for the rotating doors is always more important than this shit. Always. Keeping the tree control is very important.
I'm not convinced yet.
Cross.
Yeah, I'm coming.
God help us. Yo. There is a trademark there. Listen, man. Okay, another tip. Fuck it. Never, ever go for the lurks and flanks in the first 4 rounds on attackers and defenders side. It is bad. Mega bad. Reason number 1 is you don't know how much you can trust your teammates while you're lurking and flanking. Reason number 2, you don't know exactly the enemy's playstyle and how they're gonna play the match. Like in the first 4 rounds, we gather the information about enemies and our allies. And we need to play in a bit more baiting, trading, team play way, where we are just trying to use the life of our allies and specific outplays to fuck up the enemies. Like, this is mega bad. Especially because, I mean, enemy's chamber is still alive. I mean, there's no way for us to pass this trademark. I mean, we can pass it with the smoke right now, but he doesn't even see it. I don't know, like... there is, as far as I know, there is no way to teleport over the trademark. I mean, maybe it is possible, but chances for that is 0. You know, much better idea here would have been if you smoke the trademark like this, and then you passed it, you know, around with the smoke. But I don't know, like, let me see the width of the trademark, like, I don't know, man, like, that's like, so the trademark is like, let's say here, Let me see something. No, there's no way you can teleport from here to there. That's not possible, man. No, that's not possible. Like, they should always catch the Omen teleport.
Spike down A.
And also, another tip. Whenever your lurk and flank gets compromised in Valorant, abort the mission. Mission abortimus. Instantly. Keep your location a secret. You've already applied the mental pressure onto the enemies. And rotate back towards your allies. The only time when you should continue with this pressure is if enemies are already pressuring your teammates fast, and if the spike is planted and, you know, we need to go for a fast retake, or we're playing a post plant and we need to support our teammates ASAP. But if your flank, and how can your flank and lure get compromised? Like, enemies reveal you. You pick a fight with the enemies, nobody dies, get the fuck back. You killed one enemy. Slowly get the fuck back. Your job is already done. Like, we apply that mental layer onto the enemies. But here, you know, going alone through this area of the map, where these two enemies can be anywhere. Like, we know that Raze is in the spawn, but Chamber can be anywhere. Why would I isolate a 1 versus 1 gunfight in a 3v2 numbers advantage? Like, Valorant can be summarized in 3 sentences. Valorant is the gambling game of numbers, where you need to learn how to essentially, like, have a higher chances of winning something. Like, you need to learn the concept of smart gambling. Valorant is the game of reflex. Like, you need to learn how to play properly with your allies on a reflex potential and respecting the numbers. Like, the game of numbers, essentially. In number 3, Valorant is the game of scenarios that you need to play like a chess. Once you learn this, I mean, once you start playing Valorant in that way, instead of playing it as an FPS shooter where you're just searching for the kills, the game actually becomes easier to understand, and the grind becomes easier. I mean, that's overall the main focus of my 1 month coaching. My main focus of 1 month coaching is nothing else. Just making the players understand the gambling game, game of numbers, and essentially the trading game. The game of scenarios, you know, the chess part. I'm gonna die today.
1 enemy remaining.
Nice shot.
Now, in this 4th round, playing on CSAT is actually fine. Playing on CSAT in this 4th round is actually a really good gamble. Now I'm gonna explain why. Reason number 1. Enemies, Raze, needs only 1 ultimate point for the ultimate. And the easiest orb to be taken on Lotus is the orb on C. Reason number 2. Enemies pushed A site for 3 rounds in a row. In the last round, we fucked up the enemy's push, and chances are really, really low that enemies are going to have the confidence to push A again in this 4th round. So right now, it's like around 80% of chances that enemies will go C or B, or 20% of chances that enemies are going to go A. And personally, in this round, we need to lock down the C. Because if the Raze gets the orb for free, I mean, we need to sell the site, essentially. There's no other way. We need to do the one way.
I will find you, Omen.
Like, to be honest, the strategy that I would do in this round is the following. Like, since you already have a support of your Killjoy, this is probably the best strategy to take some easy kills and to kill the enemies. Like, do the smoke like this. You know, one-way smoke for the C looks like this. You pull it down, and this is how you do it. do teleport here, and just tell your Killjoy to destroy the enemy's Gecko flesh. That's the only job she has. And from this spot, pre-aim there, the enemy Omen is probably gonna teleport there, bop, 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 kill the Omen, drop down, and then from this spot, we can just use the paranoia to fuck up the enemies that are pushing close, take one more kill, get out. If you get 1 or 2 kills, sell this position, you made the numbers advantage, tuck in and play with the rest of your team.
Love that.
Shadows traveling.
Yeah, they're here.
I think that what I've explained right now would have worked like a charm, essentially. Like you would have gotten 1 or 2 kills easily. And Killjoy would have still been dead, but whatever.
Yeah, they're here.
I don't know, like, I mean, you have a one-way smoke here. I don't know why we're escaping this. Like, Gecko is here. Fully one-wayed. You know, you need to commit to some gunfights in Valorant. I mean, at least 80% of fights in Valorant, you don't need to fight. Obviously. But rather, if the guy is already fully one-wayed, and there's another guy walking through the one-way, but these should be easy kills for you. Like, you know, I don't understand why you pussied out from this, from this type of a fight, because this fight was working in your favor. We have a smoke. We destroyed the enemy's flashes. We can at least take 1 kill and refrag the Killjoy.
Yeah, they're here.
Player. Sorry.
I mean, also the mentality is a problem there. Like, for example, in that last round that he played, like, the mentality that I would have had is, if I don't make a numbers advantage in this C-long area of the map, and if I don't delay the enemies enough, I'm anyways fucked on the bomb site. Like, enemies are anyways gonna win this round because of the Raze ultimate. So that's why I would have committed a bit more to this C-long aggression and actually trying to kill the Gecko, Reyna that is pushing in, and then once I make a 4v3 numbers advantage, I can turtle in and go and play a bit more passively.
Wow.
But there, with you know, with your Killjoy dying, and then the enemy Raze picks up the orb, that's almost a guaranteed 3 versus 5 round for the enemy team with a Killjoy's ultimate. Now in this round, like, only God knows where the enemies are gonna go. What we've noticed during this match is that we cannot play passively, so we need to fight aggressively for Amen and C-long control, Amen or C-long control, depending where we think enemies are gonna go next. And in this round, it is a complete 50-50 gamble if the enemies are gonna go A or C. I just predict that there's no way enemies are gonna go B with a Raze ultimate. So most of the times when players have Raze ultimate, they will send it C site, you know, around 10 to 20% times more than anywhere else on Lotus. So it's a okay gamble that you're playing C. Just the problem is, you know, we need to have some kind of a plan to counter that Raze ultimate. Either trying to get some kind of a cheesy pick in the C-long area of the map. You know, maybe we can do a one-way here, teleport there, and from this position, try to contest the enemies. If Raze ults, get the fuck back, you know, TPing in there with this one-way smoke. Maybe we can use a fake one-way smoke setup. Smoke like this, and then wait to see if enemies are gonna peek and try to kill them. This smoke doesn't do anything, like, essentially it's way too high, and if you place it here, it looks, you know, like shit. But enemies don't actually see this position when they're peeking this smoke. Or what we can do is maybe, like, we can play around the smoke on the site like this, you know, like combine these two smokes and try to dodge the raise with the ultimate in this position. When the raise passes us, we're trying to kill the rest of the enemy team with a paranoia and trying to kill them. We could have also bought a judge. Judge heavy shield sheriff with utility. And then when the enemies are pushing in with a raise ultimate, we can place this type of a smoke. Essentially just a regular heavy position smoke. We dodge the raise and then try to kill the rest of her team. But this round, if we play it in any default way, I mean, we're just gonna lose the C set 100%.
Shadows traveling.
Three steps. Oh, never mind. Okay.
Cover going out.
I don't know where do you see this type of a play, but this is mega not worth it. Mega not worth it. Like teleporting instead of this one-way smoke alone, when you don't know if any of the enemies are in the C long, C main area of the map, it's a suicide move. Because I don't know if when the enemies are gonna start lurking, flanking, like when they're gonna start faking or doing some kind of a random shit. I would never in my life teleport instead of that smoke. It is way too dangerous. The only strategy that I would sometimes do when it comes to this type of a smoke is doing a fake one-way smoke to potentially outplay the enemies when I play eco and half by rounds. But other than that, everything else is just stupid. You know, you can do a smoke here, and instead of that circle there, enemies actually don't see your legs. Like, you can basically stand here, and your legs are almost... It's literally invisible. Like, enemies don't see you in that corner. Like, you can TP with a, I don't know, stinger or something. Here, get in a smoke, tell your teammates to destroy that stupid shit, and just play here. And choose the right moment of time to strike the enemies, or maybe TP behind them. But, I don't know. This is way too risky. And also remember, please, like, when you're helping your teammates on the A side, give them the one-way smoke for the tree. Like, it's very important to keep the tree control on this map. Okay, what do we do now? So there is a trap here. Enemies are still not on the A side. What do we do? There's two decisions here. Decision number one: destroying the trap and slowly moving towards the Phoenix on B side and playing with our allies, keeping our location a secret and applying the mental pressure onto the enemies that we are behind them. Gamble that we can do, that is option number two, is simply hold some kind of a tight angle and wait to see if enemies are going to start rotating back towards the B set and C side. If enemies continue with their push onto A, you know, we can just smoke this trip and try to go for the flank behind, for the fast flank behind the enemies. Don't make the footsteps if you already did this. Like, what if one enemy is here? Like, the reason why we did that is to keep our location a secret. Fuck it, I mean, your teammates are still not dying. Enemies are still not pushing the site. Let's kill it. Now, walk a bit, walk a bit, walk a bit, walk a bit. Still, I will walk, walk, walk. You know, if my teammates are not dying. And now, I will start running. When the sound circle is past, you know, this position. Why wouldn't you play with your Phoenix? I mean, you know, one of the most important rules that you follow in Valorant, you always want to play with your most aggressive and your most useful allies at that moment of time. Essentially, teammates that have the higher chances of dying first. Right now, your Phoenix is fully overexposed in the A main area of the map, while your Chamber and Killjoy can play on a refrag potential. Phoenix is alone. Save that
Two more, three.
that gorilla, man.
Maybe three.
I don't know, like you need to respect. You need to respect, bro. I don't know what's happening with my voice, man. Sorry. Like, you need to respect these rules a bit more. You know, playing on a refrag potential, playing together with your most aggressive allies that have the highest chance of dying, stuff like that. Especially in the first 3, 4, 5 rounds. Like, here, you know, if there's 4 of my teammates alive, actually 3, like there's 4 of us alive on a map. The only question I'm asking myself is with who I want to play at that moment of time. If my Killjoy is already rotating towards chamber through the spawn, like this, I don't want to play with chamber and Killjoy. I want to play with this, you know, Usain Bolt.
Two more, three.
And also wasting this, wasting shrouded steps to reposition faster. I think that is never worth it. Like, there's like maybe 5% of case scenarios where that might be worth it to get a better timing, but only 5%.
Maybe three.
1 man.
Up there for you.
Okay, now we use a smoke, right? I mean, look, here, in this example, like, this one is very easy to win. Like, first of all, we need a smoke for the aim in. Because even if you use a paranoia here, I mean, enemies can be all the way here, and they're not gonna be flashed. So, we're inside of this smoke, Spike is here, 2 of our teammates are on site, and we know that all of the enemies are in this area of the map. Like, we need a second smoke, so that once the enemies are peeking out, we can use the paranoia, take easy kills, and reposition towards our teammates. But you should have like use the smoke, then paranoia, and that's it. But yeah, I guess the sound fucked you up a bit there. I don't know, like I don't know. It's Valorant audio, to be honest. Like, it happens to me as well sometimes. Like, I hear that enemy jet dashed like past me when the jet is like literally in my face. Like, whatever.
Enemy.
Another tip for Lotus: whenever you see that enemy Gecko Pokemon, Eminem has the ultimate. Chances are around 70 to 80% enemies are gonna send it C. It's a very common play. People like doing it a lot because it's very easy, you know. With the Gecko Pokemons, you just do this, you know, bop, clear the whole site. Do this, bop, clear the whole site, like. So I would actually recommend you, whenever a Gecko has his ultimate Pokemon, play on the C set and gamble on the C. Especially if you're playing an eco half by round, you know, it's okay to gamble a bit more. And in this match, as I said, like, we've already established we need to start fighting for the A main and C main control, moving from the next round. We cannot play passively.
You want to play?
This economy option never exists. Playing a Stinger without a shield, that doesn't exist in any playbook and any economy management video. Stinger, you should always combine with either a light shield or heavy shield. If you don't have money for that, buy a sheriff with a light shield, buy a marshal, buy a shorty, buy a bucky. But it is not worth playing Stinger without a shield.
Let's play.
Thus far, we're quite good with the predictions, huh? Not that bad. I mean, there's no predictions, man. Like, once you learn this, you know, when you're reading the enemies in Valorant is very easy, especially in medium elo and high-low elo. Like, reading the players between Platinum and Immortal 3 is, you know, you can be right 60 to 80% of times. Because players follow some very usual patterns. Ultimate status of the enemies can tell you 80% of times where they're gonna go. They don't like changing their patterns that much. They love, you know, they have one playstyle and only one playstyle. So you need to put more focus on, you know, this topic.
Just achieve.
And apply these rules within your gameplay.
That's the man. Yeah.
Spike planted.
What do we do now?
Last player standing.
Okay. Okay. I mean, objectively speaking, there is absolutely nothing better that he could have done. Like, I mean, he has a stinger without anything, like,
Last player standing.
nothing better.
I was
though.
Okay.
Oh, that's Phoenix KJ. Look at this.
Listen, like, as I said, if you notice that the passive gameplay on Lotus is not working, we need to start fighting aggressively for the aim and control however the fuck we know, essentially. And if your team doesn't want to fight for aim and control, Operator and Odin. High penetration weapons. That's your best bet to win that match on the defender's side. Look, just buy the op, hold this angle, get a kill, rotate towards the site, get another kill, get another kill, TP on tower. You get the point, like, just rotate the positions. Odin, every wall on this map is spammable. Like, you can get so many free kills. This shit. Ba 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 ba. We kill the enemies moving through the A main. Enemies open the doors. Hello. One more kill. Enemies are taking the orb. One more kill. Enemies are in this corner. One more kill. Enemies are going towards the B side. Line yourself up. One more kill. You sell the, you know, tree. Enemies are in the tree. Maybe one more kill. Now, enemies pressure you, I don't know. Basically, you go all the way back into the spawn. You think one enemy is there. No problem. Let's kill that idiot as well. You're retaking B side. No problem. Let's kill this guy and then go in. That's also spammable with medium penetrating weapons. Enemies are anywhere in this area of the map. No problem. What? Enemies are in the B-main here. No problem. Let's kill them. Enemies are up here. Enemies are pushing C-long area of Lotus. And they're picking up the orb. There. No problem. Map out of paper made. Literally, like. Enemies want to spam you. In Amen there. Kill them back. And spam them back. So yeah, you get the point. And that's the best solution you have. But also, the solution that you are going for is not bad. You know, with our judge, if our guess is right, I mean, in this round, I think also that enemies are gonna go A. You should be able to get some cheesy kills and fuck up the enemies. Also with Omen, like, I mean, it's very easy to dodge the enemy's flashes and utility in the aim and area of the map. Like, basically, one strategy that you should always try is playing here and doing a fake one-way smoke. Here. This one-way protects you against the Gecko flash, Breach flash, and I mean, very rarely you're gonna see a Sky or some, and Reyna flash, you know, like, whatever, like, but you dodge 80% of flashes that exist in the aim and area of the map.
Hey.
Levels. around.
Shadows traveling.
There they are.
Close, right.
I can't help you. I have a judge.
I don't understand like why you're doing a one-way smoke on the tree when you're playing with the judge and shotguns.
Care B, please. Someone B.
Stealing
Can you
sight.
B?
Don't do this type of a play with the shotguns, man. Do this type of play with automatic weapons or with a stinger, with some shit like that. There's no reason. You're just overcomplicating. Like, when you do this type of a play, chances are very low that enemies are gonna push this at all. And you're just gonna waste a shrouded step, teleport, and paranoia. Like, you want the enemies to come towards you. You want the enemies to push you. When you have a judge. Like, you wanna do this, you know? This type of a smoke. Or you wanna do this.
Cover going out.
And then use this line to hide from the enemy's utility. And random spell, or maybe play here, in this corner. And then ba 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 ba. That's how we play with the shotguns. And also, another benefit is like, you know, if you're playing on the lower ground, here, doors are opening, your teammates are taking a fight. I mean, you can always, pop, 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 you know, you can always like, hello, drive around them.
Coming in.
I got an op.
Shadows traveling.
Okay, let me give you one explanation. Let's talk about this round until that moment of time. First of all, if you have a shotgun and you're playing alone on the A side and enemies are pushing only through A main, the best smoke that you can give yourself is a trial and smoke here and play around it, because this smoke allows you to move in and outmaneuver the enemies, you know, towards the site, close the gap with them. Like, this is much better than the smoke that you did, especially because the spike was getting planted here. And you can destroy the gecko shit and then move into the smoke and maybe move towards the right side and then hold this angle. Second of all, when you have shotguns, you really want to keep that information away from the enemies as much as you can. Like, you consistently want to bait the enemies into thinking that you don't have a shotgun. Like, if I want to destroy this wingman, I'll try to do it with a classic pistol. With a trip, you know, doing this. When I'm holding angles, I'm gonna try to hold them initially with a classic pistol. Like, I don't know, enemies are pushing through the tree here. I'm gonna do this, and then pull out the judge, and then try to kill them. Like, you wanna give the enemies the confidence to engage you before you pull out the big guns in that close range fight. And this teleport here, oh God help us. I mean, like, it can work. I don't know, like, it's really like this is a completely 50. Sometimes doing this type of teleports is okay. The problem here is, like, you know, this can work, but it's a really, like, fucked up TP where enemies can see you from a lot of different angles. Like, these blind teleports are good when there's not so many angles from which enemies can actually see you and kill you. But now some enemies can be aiming. Up, that's sub. Thank you a lot, man. But I cannot see, hearing. Where we go? Thank you for the prime sub and scamming the Jeff Bezos, brother. So it can work, but it's just too many angles from which enemies can kill you. Like, and then maybe it works. Like, yeah. As I said, like, this is always a 50-50 gamble. Like, now you're asking yourself, like, when is it good to go for this 50-50 gamble? When you're in some kind of a disadvantage. You know, if you think that you're just gonna get stomped somewhere by the enemy team, okay, you can do this. If you're in the numbers disadvantage, you can try it. If you're in the economy disadvantage, okay, we can try it. Why not? The more you experiment, the more, you know, in these rounds, the more success you're gonna find anyways.
Remaining.
Okay, last OP, Kier.
I need a gun, bro.
Just done.
I mean,
The
we
gun's
don't
nice.
need, we have a gun.
He's chamber already.
30
The
seconds
spike
left.
is on site.
Careful.
Alarm bot out.
Don't peek on the first plant.
10 seconds left.
Okay, he's gonna plant. Kero picker close. Yeah.
No time,
that's
right?
Close. That's very close. Yeah. Good job. Kero picker.
Okay. I mean, like, I don't know what Chamber did that round, to be honest. But you played it quite well, to be fair.
No time,
The only additional tip I would give you, in this type of matches, where you're losing a lot, and when you, generally speaking, in the matches where economy is shit, don't focus too much on the kills. Like in this round, okay,
Close.
we won the round
That's very close.
because the timer went off. Like the Chamber didn't have enough time to plant the spike. I wouldn't go for this Chamber kill. Why? Because our economy is shit. We lost 5 rounds. We won only 2 rounds. And if you die right now, you're investing everything into the next round. And then if you lose the next round, once again, we're eco and halbei. So, always value yours and your team economy over the kills. If the rounds are already secured. Like, staying alive here is far more important than getting this last kill on Chamber. I mean, enemies have amazing economy. They won like 5 rounds. Like, this one death on the Chamber means nothing. Like, he can buy for the next 3 rounds in a row. Now, in this round, playing again on the A set is bad. But Charlatan, why is it bad? Listen here, motherfucker. It is bad because the one time when we won the round on A site, enemies actually pushed C site. They did something different. So always expect the repetitive patterns from the enemies. Because people in ranked solo queue are mega repetitive. Like, enemies were following the rule of fear. Thus, in this round, I would have made a bit harder gamble, and I would play on C side with my Phoenix and Killjoy. Plus, when you have the Omen ultimate, you can always gamble. Anyways, you have a quick repositioning tool. If your gamble is not correct, you can just rotate towards your chamber and play with the chamber at any moment of time. But I can do the same thing on C. I know. But if you don't start your round on C side, and you need to use your teleport to reposition, maybe you won't have enough time to prepare yourself for some kind of a setup to fuck up the enemies. You know, like, for example, doing some kind of a one-way here, like, getting ready with the paranoia to do something. On A side, I mean, Chamber is gonna get a contact with the enemies. When the enemies are here, you can instantly teleport. Voila. You're ready. You know, there's no way enemies are gonna open the doors that fast and push into the A side that fast. But on C side, enemies can, like, really, like, just run it down, you know? And you'll have to teleport backside or somewhere
Nothing A.
in the city.
That's what might help you.
Holy shit, man! I think I should. We're gonna rename ourselves Nostradamus in Valorant. I'm just kidding. I'm not surprised. Like,
Killjoy, don't die with your stuff this time.
B?
On you, boy.
as I said, like, everything in this round, we expected the enemies to go either, you know, to do anything else except pushing A side. So it was much better gamble to lock down the C long with a one-way smoke and just prevent the enemies from pushing C and just playing a fast rotation towards B. Because that's the thing that enemies did the first time when they lost the round on A side. This type of shit is almost never worth it on a defender side. Like, I would always advise you to use your Omen ultimate on a defender side as a recon tool and as a tool to reconnect with your allies. Going behind the enemies 95% of times is not worth it. There is a 5% of times when you're creating some kind of an outplay setup. Like, for example, on Icebox, we have really cool setups to fuck up the enemies with the fake smokes and fake teleports. But here, especially teleporting this close to the enemies where they can hear your teleport and where they can hide behind this cover. Like, I mean, this is... And not only that, one enemy can be here, one enemy here. They're waiting for you to commit to the teleport. Bop, bop, bop. And you cannot teleport in that area of the map. To be honest, on Lotus, you cannot teleport anywhere behind the enemies without the support of your allies.
On you, boy. I'm waiting on B.
The smokes are good. The smokes are good. Smoke setups are good.
No one on B, no one on B.
C mount.
KJ got you stuff.
They should have...
That guy is awful.
Exactly. You didn't take that kill because you're good. You took it because that guy is
That's
awful.
Crazy.
Spike down. C.
The spike.
One enemy remaining. Flawless.
Nice, open.
Nice one, guys. That's good, KJ.
Okay. And ending of the round was fine. Good outplays.
I can get a kill.
A bit risky, but good. Now in this round, we have one problem again. Enemies once again have the Raze ultimate. What did the enemies do last time when they had a Raze ultimate? They pushed C-side. Like, pay attention on these patterns. Like, trust me, like 60 to 80% of the games on a defender side, you can read the enemies so many times, and like, it's just stupid. Like, players are way too repetitive in these lobbies, way too repetitive, and that's the main reason why they suffer in ranked solo queue. Like their playbooks are shallow, their playstyle is shallow. They don't know how to be unpredictable, essentially.
Yeah, nothing A. 1A. Wait, no.
And don't make this mistake that, I mean, okay, that chamber rotation was fine, but to be honest, I would never do what chamber did here. Like, I would always avoid destroying those doors unless we need to go for some kind of a fast beat. I don't know, like, it really depends on a scenario, like, fuck it.
It's fine, I'm waiting.
1A. Behind you, bro.
Oh,
Sorry, bro.
my bad.
Chamber
I
got
think they go
fucked.
B. They have both sides.
Okay, that's good.
Spike planted.
Damn it. 1A main.
It's fine, I'm waiting.
1A. Behind you, bro.
Okay.
Sorry, bro.
My bad. I was too
I think they go
focused on
B.
right
They
now.
have both sides.
Okay, that's good.
Spike planted.
There's really nothing to talk about in that round. It can work. Listen, whenever you're holding the angles, first of all, this can work. Why can this work? Because enemies never really push B main area of the map with any flash or any utility. At least I didn't hear any utility here, so why not? You know, this is okay. But I would always make sure, if I'm playing this angle with a judge, to be around 0 to 9 meters away from that wall. And I will never actually hug the wall. I will always position myself a bit more diagonally, like this, to fuck up with the enemy's crosshair placement and angle perception advantage. And you always place 1/3 or 1/4 of your crosshair inside of the actual wall. if you don't hear the enemy's footsteps. Because if you fire the shot like this, all of the shots are actually going to the target. Like, I'm gonna share with you some video that's gonna explain this topic completely in depth, like how to hold the angles with the shotguns and stuff. Like, but this specific angle, this is the proper way of holding it with a shotgun if you don't hear the enemy's footsteps and if you think that enemies are just walking through this area of the map.
Yeah, pushing can be. Maybe you can move Omen.
No, I'm gonna stay here. Just for a bit.
No, I got
Cover going out.
Okay.
No, I got
Cover going out.
Listen, when your teammates are getting pushed onto the A site, and your teammates give up the tree area of the map, once again, you know, the smoke should be your bigger priority. But anyways, like, I mean, if you have 2 smokes, you should be giving this to your Gecko.
You can ult maybe.
Is it an A push? Is that are they? Oh, shit, they have one. Hold on, give me a second.
Why you didn't rotate with your Killjoy through the tower? What's the difference between you going CT and tower? Also, like, Chamber got a kill there.
Yeah, pushing can be. Maybe you can move.
What happened then?
I'm
You really need to focus on the rotating doors a bit more on the minimap. If you really want to do that smoke, one-way smoke for the rotating doors, as soon as you see this sign on the minimap. Like, that is one of your most important smokes on
no, I'm gonna
Lotus.
stay here. Just for a bit.
In order for your teammates to fully keep the tree control.
No, I got
Cover going out.
You can ult maybe.
And to be honest, as soon as you make, you know, numbers advantage, you should sell the map control a bit more and just, you know, focus on that numbers advantage. Simply very gameplay.
Is it an
Like,
A push?
you don't need to
Shit, they have one.
complicate stuff. And in this example, I really don't know why you just didn't rotate like with your Killjoy.
One enemy remaining.
Nice.
Probably 3. Push together.
Shadows traveling.
One enemy remaining.
Nice.
Probably 3.
In any scenario where there's only one enemy alive, 5v1, 4v1, 3v1, 2v1, stick to the butthole of your allies. Once again, on both attackers and defender side, you don't need any map control. As long as you play together, you're gonna win that round. Just be aware of all of the angles from which that enemy can come. Period. Like, that's where the story ends.
Push together.
Shadows traveling.
Oh, he's here.
He's dead.
What is? 74. I'm gonna do if you want. No worries.
Okay, we had a bit of technical difficulties, like my recording crashed, but now we're back into the VOD review. We're playing the 11th round, and essentially, like our friend Oliverius wants to push and control the B main area of the map. I mean, sure, fine, you know, in the last round, enemies tried pushing A. Enemies are, you know, following that rule of fear to some degree. So gambling on the B side in this round is absolutely fine. Let's see what he's gonna do.
Chamber if you want. Buy trips.
Let's see what our friend Olivierus is gonna do. Okay, Judgeroni. Getting in this corneroni, bro.
I ate the fucking blind.
Again.
Cover going out.
Okay, listen here. Like, I mean, I discussed this multiple times. Essentially, whenever you're holding the angles with the shotguns, always curve yourself a bit more from the angle so that you're effing up the enemy's crosshair placement. And most of the times you want to place 1/3 of your crosshair inside of the actual wall so that the first bullet of the shotgun has the highest levels of efficiency, basically. If you don't hear the enemies pushing and if you don't know how and when they're gonna push. Like this angle here, it is much better if you're holding it in this specific way. Like literally like this. And then first bullet goes like this, and then bop. You finish that enemy with a second bullet. Also, like, make sure that when you're holding this type of angles with a judge, that you're like 0 to maximum 10 meters away from the furthest wall from which enemies can peek you at that moment of time. Like, for example, here, you know, this is like a perfect distance. You know, you use the smart pings to know exactly how far away you're from the furthest wall from which enemies can peek you at that moment of time. And also, like, I mean, here, doing this mid-side smoke, I understand it. I get it. Like, basically, you know, he's trying to delay the enemy's push a bit. He's trying to, like, you know, play with their mind a bit. Because when the enemies see that fucked up smoke there, there's a huge chance that enemies are gonna slow down a bit, maybe waste more utility to push into the bombs, and maybe waste a Gecko ultimate to push into the side. But here, you know, considering how the enemies played this whole match, I would have just done a very fast rotation and instantly go towards the A side. Like, very rarely enemies were faking during this match. Very rarely they were, like, splitting the map. So staying right now in the B main is just pointless. La 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 la. Thank you. So here, you know, we should be moving our ass long time ago. Long time ago. Like, basically, already now, he should have been, like, with his Phoenix and Killjoy. Minimum. Minimum. Essentially, like, you know, you have a bit of a problem, like, during the whole VOD review when it comes to the timings of your rotations. Like, timings of your rotations in Valorant are completely dependent on, like, how enemies are playing on the attacker side, how good and how bad your teammates are, and also, like, which map you're playing. Lotus is a slow rotation map. Like, you know, we value the map control to almost the same degree as we value the team play. But, you know, if enemies are just committing to their pushes, if they're just 24 just breaching through the bomb sites, and your teammates are not that good to actually defend them, we need to rotate a bit faster. And help our allies.
Planted.
Oh, listen here, like, man, like, if you have any close range weapon, such as Judge, Bucky, Stinger, something like that, most of the times, you want to retake the A site from the A tower. Because with your smokes, with the Shrouded Steps Paranoia, it is much easier for you to close the gap with the enemies from A tower, rather than closing the gap from the A main area of the map. Like, for example, you know, here we can jump spot the enemies, we can use the Paranoia there, we can use a mid-air smoke to drop down inside of the smoke, and then from this position, bop, bop, engage the enemies with the Judge. Like, going from the main with a Judge Stinger, like, essentially, like, any close range weapon is something that I personally would heavily avoid. Generally speaking, you know, like, most of your retakes should be on the A side from the tower. You know, clearing this, and then clearing the front side, tree, and then contesting the enemies in the A main area of the map. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. Oof. We got a bit lucky there that none of the enemies are actually, like, you know, in the A main area of the map. We gambled there really hard. And also, remember one more very important tip. Whenever you're playing controllers, I mean, Omen, and you're very close to your smoke being replenished during the retakes, when you're fighting the enemies, during the post plants, wait for it. Especially if you need that smoke for that specific retake, for that specific play or whatsoever. Like, basically right now we have a Judge. We know that some of the enemies are on the bomb site, some of the enemies are in the tree, some of the enemies are, like, you know, maybe on the tower. Like, this second smoke can allow us to actually win this whole round, essentially. Like, you know, in this example, okay, we have this smoke to pressure the enemies close. This smoke is okay. You know, this trial and smoke is good because we have a judge, we need to pressure the enemy's closure. Plus, this smoke allows our Phoenix to pop flash through the smoke. We are isolating the bomb site in different segments. It's okay. It's not that bad. But I would have waited for another smoke so I can do this as well. And now we can just hop into this smoke. Maybe flash the enemies here, push out, try to kill them there. I don't know. Or maybe flash the enemies in the tree, like this. And now push out, kill them in the tree. And then deal with the enemies that are on the bomb site. Don't rush things out. Like, I mean, whenever you have plenty of time to defuse the spike, to retake the bomb sites, just take your time. Like, you know, no one is pressuring you. Except yourself. I mean, if we did the things in the way that I've just explained, we would have killed probably 3 enemies. Like, with the judge in that, you know, tree area of the map and in that cross on the A side. But that's just, you know, problem of rushing things too much. Anyways, we covered this whole attacker side very, very in-depth in the previous rounds, but, you know, let's look at this last round as well. Since, you know, enemies were heavily pressuring us on the A side and C side in the previous rounds, gambling now and starting now on A is fine, but, you know, one of the biggest mistakes that we're making in this VOD is already from the 4th or 5th round. If you notice that passive playstyle is not working for you, you need to start aggressing the enemies. Like, you need to start taking the A main control, C long control, C main, like, when basically, if we cannot play passively and stop the enemy's pushes passively, there's no other way. And we talked about it. Like, I mean, you can pick up the Odin, spam the enemies to the walls, pick up the operator, try to get some cheesy pick. At the end of the day, if you're playing some eco rounds and halberd rounds, you can risk it alone as well. Like, you know, you can do a smoke like this. Basically, close the gap with a smoke, kill the enemies here, get in a smoke, try to maybe do a second smoke here, and now, you know, try to get 1, 2, 3 kills, like, trade yourself for a few kills and delay the enemy's push a bit, if nothing else. But ultimately, the best idea in this VOD was, like, you know, we have a Gecko, Phoenix, Omen, Chamber, and Killjoy. Brother. Like, Phoenix can do the Molotov right here, or just at the rubble. Gecko can use the Molotov for the A main. Gecko uses the flash. You use Paranoia for the A main area of the map from here like this. We don't need it in the Molotov, like, just catch the enemies there. We do the one-way smoke. And that's it. We have the full A main control, and now the rest of our team can rotate towards the B and C, while we keep the A main control with the one-way smokes, for an example. And one more tip, like, whenever you have bad teammates with yourself on a defender side that you cannot trust, whenever you're supporting them on the A side, start here. You know, from this position, do the one-way for the A main area of the map, then use the flash like this, and take the A main control with them. You know, we can TP here, fuck up the enemies there. Simple like that. Simple as that. And especially if you have the molly nades, like, we can fully push the enemies back, take the full A main control. Like, with this team comp, that would have been easy.
I know we do.
It's pointless. Like, one of the worst things you can do in Valorant is repeating the same thing over and over again if it doesn't work. You know, you can try something once, 2 times, even 3 times if in the 3rd time you're trying to outplay the enemies with some unpredictable, you know, play. Like, for example, one rule that I always teach the players in Valorant is the, you know, LSD. Like, if something doesn't work one time, it's a matter of luck. Like, Valorant is a heavily luck-based game. Like, 40% of things in Valorant are just pure luck. 40% of gunfights that you lose, rounds that you lose, matches that you lose, like, there's nothing better you could have done, essentially. Now, if a second time that same play doesn't work, that's a bit of a skill issue. Like, essentially, you know, we can probably do something to adapt that playstyle a bit, that same playstyle or that same outplay strategy, tactic, or position, to make it better, to make it work. And if certain something doesn't work 3 times during a specific match, it is absolutely dumb to repeat it again. And you should just rely on everything else that you have in your ranked playbook for that specific map. Like in the first 4 rounds, if you see that you cannot play passively on Lotus, we need to find some kind of a solution to get the kills here and here before the enemies even start executing the bomb sites.
Check away.
Cover going out.
And this is something that I will never understand. Like, this is something that he repeated so many times during his gameplay. Listen here, guys. When you're playing shotguns and close-range weapons to fuck up the enemies for easy kills, Judge, Bucky, Stinger, Shorty, you want the enemies to push you. You want the enemies to close the gap with you and to come at you. You know? You don't want to give them the one-way smoke and they're going to have zero confidence to push it, and then we don't have a smoke for the actual play. Also, another thing that you should be doing is, like, don't showcase to the enemies that you have that close-range weapon. A lot of times when I'm playing a classic pistol shorty strategy, I will make the enemies think first that I have a classic pistol, not a shorty. Like, you know, if I want to kill the enemies here with a shorty at the backside, I'll start the round with a classic pistol. I'll be jump spotting the enemies here, maybe shooting like 1 or 2 random bullets to see how they're gonna respond, slowly pathing backwards. Once again, bap, and now I pick up the shorty and I fuck up that enemy. Because if enemies see that you have that close range weapon, they're gonna lose all of the confidence to push you. Same as this one-way smoke. Like, I don't know, this is no bueno.
Oh, shit.
Shadows traveling.
And definitely, like, your rotations need to be adapted a bit more. Like, depends, like, how the enemies are playing, how your teammates are playing. Like, you need to adapt your timings, essentially. Like, our rotations were mega slow, like, and in a lot of rounds, you didn't play, you just didn't support your teammates fast enough. Like here, for example, you know, okay, we didn't rotate fast, but my teammates are peeking in the CT area of the map. Well, let's support them with something, you know, like, let's give them at least some kind of a flare, you know, let's run here fast, let's do this flash, and then let's rotate. I don't know. Like, you just need to figure out better timings to support your teammates. Just rotate faster, play with them a bit more, use their life in a bit more proactive way, and that's it.
Flash.
Here, like, well, what you're waiting for? We have a tripwire there. Rotate.
Spike planted.
Oh, I'm not shooting that.
Here, like, I'm in. Okay, we're gonna get that kill.
Ready.
Last player standing.
I mean, enemies came. Literally, like, 15 seconds ago, enemies came through this position. First of all, whenever enemies push B site through the A link, always expect that enemies are gonna leave one teammate in this area of the map. Like, always expect that one guy is gonna be there. So when you're pathing, you know, like this or like this, be very fucking careful. Like, either isolate the angles better with your smokes, or you need to check these positions somehow. Second tip. If enemies already push the B side through A link, expect someone to play in A link. Like, you cannot be holding your utility in the hands while being fully exposed from this peak and this choke point. Like, hide yourself, then use your paranoia, then move in. And expect the enemies to play anywhere in this area of the map. Like, 90% of times, there's gonna be one guy there. 90%. But generally speaking, like, he didn't have that many problems, like, with, you know, with this type of stuff, like, where he's pulling utility at the wrong moment of time. That is not a problem. On defender side, it's more like your initial positioning, strategies that you're performing, smokes that you're doing, guns that you're picking, how we play the game on a macro and micro level, like, all of these things you need to adapt a bit better on Lotus. Of course, based once again on what type of teammates and enemies you have. Like, you cannot be hitting your head into the same wall 24/7 for 12 rounds in a row. We need to change something drastically, essentially. Okay, now, attacker side of Lotus. Story is very simple. Your default bomb set at number 1 priority, C site. Number 2 priority, A site. Number 3 priority, B site. Why is C set our highest priority? Because usually in the earliest stages of the game, and generally what you see on Lotus, there's gonna only be 1 or 2 enemies on C. Defending C set is generally mega hard on this map, even if enemies have like some hardcore sentinel, such as Cypher or Killjoy on that bomb site. It is borderline impossible to stay alive during the enemy's push unless you're playing mega passively from the CT area of the map, and unless enemies that are pushing are really fucking bad. Also, like, on this map, in the first 4 to 6 rounds, you should tell your teammates to play together as 5, and we should be testing the enemies on C site and A site. Time and executes. And then after the 4th, 5th, or 6th round, you need to ask yourself, is that playstyle working for us? If it's working, great. Then just keep doing what you're doing, and that's it, until it stops working. If it is not working, then we need to change our playstyle. We need to test the enemies on B, maybe split the B site, maybe fake them a bit more, play a bit more passively and default, try to search for the picks. There's multiple other solutions. The best pattern of pushing on Lotus, based on all of this knowledge, is that, and statistics, is that you should push C site 3 rounds in a row, and then in a 4th round, we fake C and go A. As a reminder, when you're faking in the 4th round, your teammates should always have 1 smoke on that bomb site that they're faking. You should always send your initiator to fake a site and the most useless teammate for the post plant and push on the opposite part of the map. Usually a second duelist, sentinel, some shit like that. You know, send a Killjoy, send a Cypher, and that's it. And the job of these guys is to Sudoku themselves, just to push the C site no matter what. And you're slowly taking this aim and space together with the rest of your team. Like, you need to pick a really good timing, like, you know, when you think that enemies started rotating back. And you should always play with a group of allies that is not faking, unless you have the ultimate. Now, in the first round with Omen, you know, you should always go for some kind of an aggressive play if you're playing in low elo and medium elo. I mean, from Iron 1 to Immortal 3. Classic, light shield, 2 smokes, 2 shrouded steps. We always start the rounds where we are pushing C fast, here, running in front of our teammates, and jump spotting the enemies. We want to reveal the enemies in this whole area of the map here. Then, we take the position behind the mound, clear this spot, the box, jump spot the enemies again. We use the default setup for the first round, and when your teammates are ready to push into the bomb site, as your duelists are going in, we simply do this. Your job is to just get into this position, and from this position, we're waiting for the contact between enemies and our allies. This is the absolutely safest execute that we have on the C side of Lotus. As your teammates are moving in, and they're picking this fight, and this fight, you're basically connecting with them, and you're trying to support them in all of these fights. You should never be the first contact between enemies and your team. You need to play a bit more of a baiting and trading game. And we are giving our teammates confidence to push into the bomb site together with us and hopefully our duelist as well. This buy option doesn't exist on any map between Iron 1 and Immortal 3. 2 Shrouded Steps, Paranoia, and 2 Smokes, without a light shield, and with a classic pistol. Stupid buy option. Fuck the Paranoia in the first round. That is something that you should only buy, maybe, from Immortal 3 moving forward. Having that light shield is far more important. Listen here, like, this Shrouded Step is okay. You know, when you're taking the C-long area of the map, like, it's okay. You know, you can cross towards that position and then try to pick the enemies from the left side. Why not? Another way to counter the enemies that are basically pressuring your teammates in C-long is using one of your smokes here and then teleporting into that smoke, and then from this position, you know, using a Paranoia to pick the enemies and fuck them up. For an example. But ultimately, I mean, like, when enemies give you this type of a one-way smoke, we should counter that one-way smoke with Jet smokes, Cypher smokes, Phoenix wall, or some kind of crap like that. Or, I mean, if since our teammates have that much confidence, we can just push in. Please, no matter what, like, literally no matter what, when you're pushing the C set of Lotus, always check mount properly, check this position, and check behind this box. Like, these 3 spots you need to check fully, no matter how many teammates you have in front of yourself, and no matter what type of recon utility you have.
Paranoid backside, okay. Now. He's paranoid, he's paranoid.
The rest of the utility usage was nice. I mean, very reactive, default smoke setup. I mean, you cannot make that many mistakes. And where he's playing right now, this is the best postman position to play on defender side of in the postman on C set of Lotus. Like, from this spot, we can support, you know, we can surprise the enemies that are moving through the waterfall. We can kill the enemies that are there. We can also kill the enemies that are in CT. Our teammates are fighting the enemies that are all the way there, deep, no problem. With a crouch and uncrouch, I mean, you're almost instantly, like, ready to
Holding water.
shoot and kill the enemies there. You're gonna miss the first bullet, but the second bullet is gonna go into the enemies. Listen, when you're playing on this spot, most of the times, you want to play on the contact between enemies and your team. Most of the time. Depending on the numbers, you know, like, if the numbers are equal or you're in the numbers advantage, you don't want to hold the waterfall. Like, you want to surprise the enemies with a peek as your teammates are getting this contact. The only times when I would hold this is if I'm in a numbers disadvantage, or if one of my teammates is, like, stuck in this spot and I need to hold at least this angle for him, or I need to hold the CT from this position, you know, like, basically I need to do a bit more risky play. Okay, just a second, and hold something like this for an example. Pew, pew, pew.
One enemy remaining. Flawless.
Okay. Okay. He could have played a bit of a refrag game with his teammates, you know, like, we pussied out a bit more here, but it's okay. It's okay. Totally fine. Now, 2 more rounds in a row, we push C, and then in a 4th round, we fake C and we go A. And usually, like, if you win the first round with Omen on Lotus, in a 2nd round, you should purchase a Stinger, Shorty, Heavy Shield, and Utility. And that's it, if you're pushing C side. And if you're pushing A side, purchase the Heavy Shield, Bulldog, and the rest of the money goes into Smokes and Shrouded Steps. And that's it.
Cool.
I'll crush her radiant heart.
Thank you.
Let's jump spot the enemies like a normal human beings, right?
Get 9 again.
Yeah.
TP.
Listen. Whenever you're pathing through the C-long area of the map, right here, always prioritize this pathing. Like, always move like this. We're jump spotting the enemies here, jump spotting the enemies here, clearing this, this, and this, and then we're just moving into the bomb site. Never path like this. The only time when you should path in this specific way is if you're only playing with one teammate in C-long and you want to be able to refrag that teammate in this type of a duel from the site at any moment of time. Otherwise, never. Especially with a close range weapon. What? You want to get this type of a fight with Stinger against an enemy that potentially has the Sheriff? I don't want to do that. Why would I do that? Just jump spot the enemies here, move forward, check the mount, check that position, check that spot here. You will see the tip of the gun. Jump spot the enemies. That's it. We use the smokes, and then we are ready for the execute. In this, you know, remember that whenever you're playing anti-eco rounds with Omen, you should never go for risky aggressive outplays. Always go for either default playstyle, default place, or for the safe aggression. You know, what is a safe aggression? Safe aggressive play is using a paranoia like this and teleporting here or teleporting up there. That is a safe aggressive play. Because, I mean, we clear this, and wait for our teammates, and that's it. But in this round, you know, I would never go for some kind of a crazy bad shit like, I don't know, like, you know, doing a smoke, let's say, here, then doing a smoke here, using a paranoia for the left side, and then I teleport, like, behind the smoke, right here. And then I do this, like, that's something that you say for the rounds where you are in an economy disadvantage or numbers disadvantage.
Oh, nine. Yeah.
Check behind, back
Yeah. Now remember, like, even though this is the best, one of the best postman positions on the C set of Lotus, like, your postplans completely depend how your teammates are playing on the how your teammates are playing. If your teammates want to aggress the enemies, you should follow them, but never, you know, never follow your teammates into the death. If they already want to fight, let them fight first, refrag them, go back. Let them fight first, refrag them, go back. And always evaluate your win conditions. Sometimes I don't follow this rule of following my most aggressive teammate. Like, why would I follow my most aggressive teammate if I have some other better win condition? Like, I don't know, my Killjoy has the ultimate. My Killjoy Sova have the ultimate and they're playing C-long passively. Fuck everything, like, literally, like, just turtle into C-long, play postman from C-long, and that's it.
Behind. CT is open, by the way. 2 CT, 2 CT.
Go jump spot there.
Top.
Remember another very important rule. Your job in the second anti-eco round is not to win that round. Your job is to win it with the least amount of casualties possible. So don't hunt for the kills, don't lose the guns, preserve your economy and make sure that your economy is blossoming until the round 3 and 4. And that we have the proper economy for the rest of the match. I mean, anyways, we're losing like 6-8.
No, just hold, just hold.
Okay, Killjoy, wait. No way.
One enemy remaining.
I mean, brother, like, okay. Like, come on, bro. Like, this is like overcomplicating stuff. Like, I mean, yes, you want to play with the enemy's mind, and you want to do all of that shit, but bro, if an enemy has only Marshall without a heavy shield, I mean, this guy probably doesn't have any shields. Like, who the fuck buys a light shield with a Marshall in a second round when they lose the first one? I just, you know, if you have a Stinger, just run him down and that's it. There was no reason for any of this in this round. At the end of the day, like, as soon as your Gecko came back and he was like, fuck this shit, I'm out, just go back and that's it. Save the weapon. Because right now, you know, you invested 1,500 extra credits into this round that we lost in a previous round. So, like, you know, that can hurt us for the rest of this match. Like, we will have to play, first of all, this round now, you have to play with a light shield. Second of all, in the next round, I don't know if we're gonna have money for, I mean, we're gonna have money for Vandal and Heavy Shield, but in the round after that, God knows what type of economy we're gonna have. And please, the reason why I push Seaside 2 rounds in a row is so that we push it in a third round as well, and then in a fourth round, we fake C and we go A. Like, this is the best pattern of pushing for ranked solo queue environment, where you apply extreme mental pressure onto one bomb site, one area of the map, and then in a fourth round, we have the highest chances of winning that fourth round. This pattern of pushing is also good because if by any chance, somehow, you lose all 3 rounds on C, that fourth eco round that we play, the first 3 rounds, and the fourth eco round that we play, it's gonna be easier. We'll have higher chances of winning it. I wanna sneeze, bro.
Do we reshift?
Yeah, just contact up to main.
Okay, where is it on B?
Yep, smoking.
Shadows traveling. Shadows.
How annoying, Link.
What the fuck is this shit, bro? Listen here. I don't know. At least, I don't know who you're watching, who is teaching you stuff and stuff like that, but from Iron 1, so I'm gonna emphasize really big here. So Iron 1, 2, Immortal 3. So Iron 1, Immortal 3. Your default smoke setup on the B side of Lotus is doing a smoke here, doing a smoke here, and using Paranoia for the center of the bomb site and tower. Or, in the best case scenario, using a Paranoia that looks like this. This is a small choke point. We can easily pass it. This is a very dangerous area of the map where enemies can jiggle peek us on timing. Enemies on tower don't have that much opportunity to jiggle peek us on timing from the tower. Yes, they can do it, but it is not as dangerous area of the map as this one is. Period. So, if we're pushing B side, you do this, and then Paranoimus Rex, or just use an improvised Paranoia, and you can always, with some recon utility, if you have, but you can gamble it in bonus rounds, teleport. Here, this is a very safe teleport, like the only angle where enemies can kill you is that one there. But we can clear it with a Gecko Flash, Sova Dart, Sova Drone, like, you're probably gonna have something to clear that spot. And now, you know, we can close the gap with the enemies with the close range weapons. If you have the long range weapons, we can just play here. Anyways, your main position, where you wanna play, while your teammates are pushing onto the B side, planting the spike, and playing the post plant on the site, is this spot right here. Like this 90-degree angle. Because you can isolate the fights in a really good manner on all of these 3 positions and support your teammates like this. And that's it. Anyways, personally, I don't like pushing B side when I'm playing eco and halberd rounds and bonus rounds this early on because it's way too predictable. And that's what everybody does. Everybody on this map, like, you know, they're playing eco halberd bonus round. Oh, okay, let's push B. Don't be predictable, you know.
Now,
Oh, nice, good job. To the left.
Imagine dragons. Imagine dragons, brother. Imagine if you had a smoke for the A-Link. 3 of our teammates would have still been alive. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But they definitely wouldn't die from race.
Last player standing.
This tower smoke is just like, statistically, it doesn't make any sense, you know, like try it out, like it just doesn't make any sense to put a smoke here if you're playing Omen as a solo controller. Now everything else that he did in this round was okay, except the execute, you know, like he teleported in the middle of nowhere, fully exposed from that position, like that was Sudoku move. When you're executing a B side, most of the times it is really safe to go for this play. Very safe. And then from this spot, you engage that corner and then you move in. These few kills that he got, sure, fine. Not bad. And now, you know, in a 1v3, we need to big brain here. Like, we need to isolate the 1v1 fights, use this close range weapon. Like, maybe the best idea here is to simply go onto the A set and just plant the spike. And with this one smoke, try to outmaneuver the enemies on the site. Because we know that the chamber is like in A-Link with a Reyna that just used the dismiss towards the CT. And the Omen is somewhere CT or maybe even behind us. Who knows? Okay, so one guy is there. Isn't it? Okay.
We can just wait in the corner.
Okay. I don't know why we gave the S to the chamber there. Now, where we plant the spike is going to be very important because we want this spike to be mega overexposed, you know, from multiple different positions. Personally, you know, how I generally play these like 1v2, 1v3 post plants, 1 versus X post plants on A side, is like I usually plant the spike for the tower. You know, I plant it here. And then I play up here. And then what I do the smoke like this, essentially. So that enemies, you know, are pressured here. And then from this spot I'm trying to kill the enemies moving in. Someone is always gonna push that smoke. Like, people are really dumb in this game. Like, people are way too overconfident compared to what type of a skill they have and what type of a game they're playing. Like, this is all good. What he did, I would have just done a bit different spike plant. And also, right now, I definitely would have done some kind of a smoke to make the enemies think that, you know, I'm not here. Like, that's the whole point of this tower smoke, actually. Like, because if you do this smoke, maybe enemies are going to think that you're still on site. And even better, with a close range weapon here, if they push this smoke, they're absolutely fucked. And enemies that are behind me, they don't see me. Because right now, the chamber, you know, this guy is waiting for someone. Okay, or we can deal with that guy in that way. Now, another reason why, you know, if I want to play tower in a post plant, why I position the spike there, I mean, if you have another smoke during that post plant, that's a free victory for you. You know, one-way smoke, enemies cannot defuse the spike, and that's it. One enemy is in the smoke, you fight the second enemy, kill the third one, and that's it. Oh, that was just premature a bit. But where you plan the spike in this, like 1v1, 1v2, and 1v3, like post plans is mega important. Like, you need to think like 3 steps ahead. Like, when I kill this guy, what do I want to do next? Like, what are my win conditions? Essentially, like where he planted the spike, like that's a really bad angle to like I don't know. It's just not good. I mean, you're playing Omen, you have one-way smokes. Like, why would you plant it there? Now, if you push, I mean, even now, they can do some kind of a fake. I mean, they just push C and B. To be honest, in this round, if you fake A and we just push C, pardon me, we fake C and we push A, sure. I think it can also work. Why not? Why not? Yeah. Listen here. Turn down your detail quality and material settings. Basically, in Valorant, when it comes to the two most important settings that you should turn down. Material, first of all, let's talk about the graphics quality settings in Valorant. Material quality should never be above medium. Like, you don't need it. Maybe for some lineups you need high, but just put it on medium maximum. Texture quality low. Texture quality does nothing. I mean, it does improve texture quality a bit, but not important. Detail quality. This should always be low. When the detail quality is high, there's so many elements on the map literally blocking your vision and distracting your vision for nothing. Here, I'm holding this angle and this peak of the enemies. So, I have this block right here. If the enemies are peeking me there. And let's say I'm holding this angle. I don't know why would I hold this one, but this is the best example. Or maybe I'm holding, like, I don't know, this position. Stupid example. I have this little block on the ground. Low, I don't have the block, and it is not blocking this part of the vision anymore. Like, I cannot really give you a side-to-side comparison, but you can stop the video, take the picture. You see how there is this part that blocks your pixels, essentially. And there's an enormous amount of angles where these stupid details block your vision and you don't see the enemies in real time. And especially the highest levels possible, like this is mega important to see the enemies in real time. UI quality, put it on low, you don't need anything else. Vignette off, VSync always off, anti-aliasing, none. It's always better playing Valorant on none. Like, it's better to have rougher edges, like, because sometimes Valorant is not really good, optimized in a good way. Like, anti-aliasing just smoothens the edges of the objects. And what this does is, sometimes you're gonna see some random pixels of the enemies in the corners, when otherwise, that wouldn't be possible. Like, there's a lot of glitches in the game where, you know, the gun is gonna be sticking out, the foot is gonna be sticking out, a piece of hair through the wall and some shit like that. And when anti-aliasing is like MSAA 2x, 4x or FXAA, that doesn't happen. But when it is none, like, there's a lot of glitches that you can, not really abuse, but it happens from time to time. Anisotropic filtering, like, it's a personal preference. It makes the, you know, like, essentially the, it renders the quality of materials to the higher levels. I don't know how to explain it better. Like, it makes, it renders the gameplay quality higher. I personally prefer 8x, 4x is also fine. But personally, I would never use 2x or 1x. Improve clarity, so, you know, in some positions, in some places, you can see that it gives you, you know, like a better contrast between enemies and the backgrounds, and then you can see the enemies with more clarity, quote unquote. But I don't know, you know, it takes a lot of the resources, so you can just turn it off. I have it on because I have a high-end PC, and that's it. Beta experimental sharpening is really good. It makes the image much sharper. Objects are much sharper. Previously, this option was doing nothing in Valorant. Literally, I didn't see the difference. Now, they did something to this option, and it actually makes holding tight angles and pixel angles much easier. Like, the edges and the objects are more rough, so to say. And bloom is a personal preference, like, generally speaking, for the competitive advantage and disadvantage, it is better to play without the bloom, you know, turn it off, because, like, the bloom, like, makes the also, it makes the abilities in the game bloom as well. You know, when the Sova is ulting you, that shit is gonna look like the whole, you know, nuclear arsenal of Russia is coming at your face. But when the bloom is off, the skins and gun bodies look like ass. Like, to be honest, this looks like shit. And that's the only reason why I keep bloom, because this looks, I mean, 10 times better, like, to be honest. So if you don't have the skins, turn this off. Distortion, Cast Shadows, turn that off. You don't need it. I'm talking about this because I've noticed that he has detail quality on high, and that's really bad. Okay.
I'm blind.
Side. Two sides.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate. Listen here, man. Like, when you're flashing in the C site, depending where you want to teleport, depends where you should flash. Like, essentially on C set of Lotus, you have two default flashes. Like, we're either flashing like this, using a Paranoia like that, or you're using a Paranoimus Rex like this. Where you want to teleport depends where you should flash. Like, fuck your teammates. You have a Gecko flash, you have a Phoenix flash. They can flash these positions, you know, easily. Phoenix can use a wall, block the enemy's vision, and that's it. Like, if you already want to teleport, you know, here or up here, use the Paranoia for yourself anyways. This Paranoia is also supporting your teammates. I mean, enemies at the backside are going to be flashed. Enemies in this corner are going to be flashed. And very rarely there's going to be a ballsy enemy that is going to play in this triangle right here. I'm talking about this because don't lose the timings for your executes. And like the timings for the outplays, because you're trying to angle your, like, you know, your Paranoia in the right direction so that you don't hit your teammates. And sometimes it is totally fine, even if you flash your teammates. If you think that your teammates are not gonna die, that enemies are gonna be flashed, and that you're gonna get a kill because of it, that you're gonna open the site. But of course, like that is not the most optimal scenario, but it is okay sometimes. And here, you know, GG, well played, Gecko. Like, God help us now.
I'm alive. I don't know. Okay, B. Okay. No, one side.
One enemy remaining.
Okay.
Didn't hit him.
Spike down, C. Last player standing.
Man. Okay, so when you were alive on the site, killing this Gecko was good job, obviously. Teleporting on top of the site was also another good play. But now, taking this kill on Omen was also another good play. But here, bro, like, you know, you just need to move. You need to learn how to move better on this position. And generally speaking, you need to learn how to position yourself better. Like here, you can just do this and kill the chamber. But in order for you to do this, you need to be on the edge of this corner. You cannot stand in the middle of it. Also, you know, it would have been totally fine if you actually peek that chamber like this. Like, with a silent step mechanic and crouch, you can just, you know, crouch, uncrouch, and just drift into that position, essentially. And when you were left in a 1v3 scenario, like, you should have definitely smoked off that chamber, plant the spike, and deal with him later. Like, if you already have a smoke, if your teammates already don't need to take a fight with this idiot, it's okay. Like, we don't need to fight the chamber.
Last player standing.
Might just ult.
Flash. Sure.
Yeah, fuck it.
In this round as well, I mean, we pushed C set 3 times We pushed like B set 1 time. We applied enormous amount of mental pressure onto the enemies in this area of the map. Faking C and going A is still an option. A really good option. Especially because enemies don't seem like they're fighting for the A main area of the map aggressively.
I'm gonna flash. Wait for my flash.
TP, could be fake.
Jumping in the room.
Okay, it's-
Shadows traveling.
Well.
Cover going out. Watch
I'm gonna see.
Listen, man, like this teleport I don't know if you wanted to commit to this teleport, but this is something that you should never do on the attacker's side. Essentially, this type of a play that you wanted to do right now, teleporting behind the enemies while your teammates are pushing the C side, is something that you should only do and try to do when you're playing some kind of an eco or half by round. If you're playing the full by round, fuck it, man. Like on Lotus, either use your ultimate to pick up the spike, to rotate fast, you know, when you're faking or when your teammates are rotating, to take the space somewhere before your allies and enemies. Use your ultimate as a recon information tool, you know, use your ultimate in the middle of the C site and reveal the enemies like on the side, back side and stuff like that. Or use the ultimate to make the sandwich out of the enemies. Unfortunately, on C site, I mean, there is nowhere where you can actually commit to your ultimate. Like maybe, you know, you can use a Paranoimus Rex here, and then use the ultimate on top of here, scout for the enemies, and if you don't see any enemies, you can commit while your teammates are pushing in. But doing all of this and then teleporting here, especially on this position, it's mega dangerous. Because if enemies saw you, or they heard you, they can be waiting for you here, 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 here. Like, there's too many shits that can happen. Like, to be honest, on the attacker side, on Lotus, like, I don't know if I would ever use the Omen teleport past this line, essentially. Omen ultimate. Like, I will never use the ultimate past this line that I draw right now. I would always use it somewhere here. Or for the other purposes that I mentioned. It's not worth it, especially not in low elo and medium elo, because as you're trying to flank behind the enemies, you're trying to backstab the enemies or whatever the hell you want to do, 4 of your teammates can die. And what then? Especially in this match. After that last round, and after what I saw on a defender side, I wouldn't trust I wouldn't trust these teammates at all. Like, even if they're my fucking family, fuck you guys, I'm the carry now.
I'm gonna see.
I bait you, I trade you, I clutch the rounds, win the games.
I can flash you. Go.
Going in?
Wait, flash.
Can't go there.
Oh, no.
But by the way, listen, like, if you're first inside of this smoke, you should have used the flash there. Like, you should have used the flash for the backside or for the pillar, anything, essentially. I mean, Gecko Flash is really strong for clearing the C site, you know. Like, but it really depends how the Gecko does it. Like, one of the strongest Gecko Flashes is if you can get into the enemy smoke and jump and throw the flash to end up all the way here. And if the flash ends up all the way into this position, then the flash is gonna flash this guy, everyone is flashed, essentially, if the enemies don't destroy the flash somehow. But that happens in these lobbies quite often.
Flash you. Go.
Going in?
Wait, flash.
Can't go there.
Oh, that was unlucky, man. Like, the flash, Gecko's flash, actually bounced like this. It bounced from this wall. I mean, not unlucky, like, skill difference.
Oh, no.
Skill diff.
One behind.
Not ready yet. Cover going out.
Very good. Very good. Everything was good. You know, that smoke, trying to support this chamber. I just don't know, where are you teleporting? Why would you teleport right now? You could have just walked towards the chamber. We know that one enemy is behind us. We cover the cities. Chamber is covering the waterfall. Like, we have one more shot a step to outplay the enemies, to reposition. Like, chill.
I'm close now.
Okay, that's good.
One enemy remaining.
Au revoir. Au revoir.
Well played.
Okay, I mean, this is an easy win.
Crazy.
Okie dokie.
You want to
Good. I want to say right now, like, essentially, if you don't have information and you don't know for a fact how the enemies are contesting us in the A main area of the map, like, are they pushing us hard? Are they taking the A main area of the map? Are they playing passively? Always, as your default strategy with Omen, do the teleport here. And then, once you realize how the enemies actually play, you know, ask yourself, do you need to do that? If you don't need to do that, save a teleport, and, you know, if enemies are not fighting aggressively for aim and control, you don't need to do it. If they are fighting, you know, then, like, you will have to do that, to do that specific teleport. And if enemies are mulling you there, or some shit like that, then you will probably have to go for a bit more risky teleport, or basically try to outplay the enemies in some different way. You know, like with some different smoke setup, like, or push the enemies back with a paranoia, you know, or just play the retake of the aim main area of the map.
play? Let's
My voice is already dead, bro.
Oh, he's blind, he was blind.
TP, TP, TP.
Chamber was blind.
I'm gonna smoke stairs off, okay?
shadows traveling.
We can go tree here. I can power now.
Chamber is on C. She got
Okay. This is a very good call out. Generally speaking, whenever you're pushing the A set of Lotus, you always want to take the tree control. 99% of times. And then move into the site with the tree control. Moving into the A set without the tree control is just way too hard. Way too hard. Like, enemies have this position, this position, this position to peek out, and you're in a huge sandwich. Plus, if the B is open, I mean, like, too many things to think about. But usually you should be the guy that is actually moving through the tree doors. You know, through the tree area of the map.
Flash.
Cover going out.
Good reaction with the smoke there.
Oh yeah! Monster on the loose!
I mean, a bit of a panic move, and I don't really know if he could have done something better. I mean, like, to be fair, like, maybe you could have run away, but tanking this Gecko's ultimate is actually a good idea, because even if you die, you have like 4 of your team is still alive. They should be able to easily win this round. Hopefully. Like, I don't know. I really don't know what would be my instinctive reaction here. Like, probably what I would have done is just like, I would run away, because I'm a pussy when it comes to the numbers advantage. Like, if I have a 5v3 numbers advantage, I value my life more than anyone's life. If I play with 4 Tenzes in the team, I don't fucking care, man. Like, I don't know if he's trolling or having fun or playing seriously, like. So I would just be skip it deep towards the chamber, running away, opening the three doors and pushing through the tree into the A side. But also, you know, trying to maybe get that kill at the backside before you get detained.
Oh my
Maybe
God.
could have worked. Oh. We actually lost this round. Nice. As I said, like, if enemies are one-waying you here, there's so many ways to counter this one way and to play around it. Good dodge.
Cover going out.
Oh shit.
No way.
shit, bro. Like, enemies had the whole army ready to stop our C push, man.
Let's rotate, let's rotate. Okay, behind. We kill this guy.
Whoa. Listen here, like, I mean, whenever you're rotating in Valorant, from position 1 to position 2, clear every single angle as if enemies can be there and will be there. Like here, for an example. And clear the angles mega deep. You know? I will clear this. This. I will move like this. Clear this position all the way here. Maybe one guy is holding you like this. Bop, bop, bop. You never know. Like, clear that, and now focus on the A main. 1, 1, 1, and move forward. Jump spot the enemies. Move forward, like. Remember that, you know, same as in life, it's always better to be safe rather than sorry. You know, it's always better to be alive rather than dead. Imagine that.
Nice.
I don't know, here, like, I would have maybe also checked, like, how I would have pathed onto the A side right now. I would have completely avoided the aim and area of the map. And I would have done this. I don't know. I don't know if there's maybe one more guy playing there with this Reina. Who knows, like, how fast enemies rotated. Where the fuck is this gecko right now, you know, like. Check it. But at the end of the day, even if you're a bit slower, it's okay. We're 3 versus 3. We can win this as long as we play together. Go through the tree, smoke the tower properly, use a Paranoimus Rex, plant the spike, and let's play the post plant.
Oh shit.
No.
Last player standing.
That ain't gonna work. Like, listen, from now on, especially if these doors are open right here, prioritize pushing onto the A side through the tree. Fuck this area of the map. Like, nobody needs it. Let your teammates die there. Let your teammates die there like a potatoes. You don't care about them. Like, if your teammates already want to go there, you don't give a shit. Prioritize going through the tree. The smart teammates will follow you. The dumb teammates will go here. And by the way, like, in every single game of Valorant, you want to have some of the dumb, confident idiots that are willing to pick any fight. And you're gonna have that. Trust me. Plenty of times. Like, every match. And these teammates are also, you know, important for our win conditions and win chances, essentially. But in this 3v3, like, there was really no reason to go through the main area of the map at all. And here, like, I mean, brother, you're not Neo, you know, like, this was way too big of a gamble. Way too big of a gamble. Okay. Listen, whenever enemies are close in the anal cavity of yours and your teammates, paranoia out, push the enemies back, kill them, preserve the life of your allies, make your job of killing the enemies easier. If you do this type of a play, and enemies are pressuring you, like, you know, here or here, instant Paranoimus Rex, peek out, kill the enemies, and that's it. Like, this death of your gecko should not have happened at all. At all. This death of your Phoenix was not really preventable because anyways you would be using a paranoia, so Reyna would have peaked anyways, so one guy should, you know, would have died anyways, like. That was a good kill.
We can go B. I can power 9.
I don't know why you didn't pick a Vandal from the ground, but okay.
That's my shot.
One of you plan. Oh, in smoke.
okay. I mean,
Okay, nice.
we have a lot of problems here, like, you know? First of all, never rush things out when you create numbers advantage. Like, basically, numbers and economy in Valorant should always dictate how fast and how slow you want to play. And essentially, like, you're basing your whole gameplay in Valorant based on numbers. Like, literally the whole gameplay. Before that Killjoy got that kill on Chamber, pushing the tower was a good idea. To maybe take more space to surprise the enemies, and because enemies can come behind us, they can be in the CT, in the B main, God knows where the fuck they're gonna be. It was okay. It was a gamble. He needed to take that gamble, and that's it. But as soon as the Killjoy killed the Chamber, I don't need to do that anymore. I can just fuck out, hold the A-Link. Even if one of my teammates that is planting a spike dies, no problem. We're at least 2v2 still, and we can play on a refrag potential. Like, but that comes more with practice, with time, as you're doing some proper training routines, as you're self-reflecting, like, and probably everything that you're not doing right now. Overall, like, you know, you're not a bad player. You're actually really nice, to be honest. Like, I mean, you have a potential to easily be a Radiant player in the following, like, months. I don't know, like, maybe 3, 4, 5 months. Something like that. But you definitely need to, first of all, you need to change the way how you play the maps. Second of all, you need to focus more on the proper ranked team play, quote unquote. You need to focus more on what the fuck your teammates are doing. Like, a lot of times you let them do whatever the hell they want to do. Especially on the defender side. Like, your rotations and timings on defense are horrendous. No, not horrendous, just you're always late for 3, 4, 5 seconds to do the right play. And your mindset on the defender side was also really, really bad. Now, when it comes to, like, mechanical skill, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Like, I would say average Ascendant 3 Immortal 1 player. You know, you're not Radiant, but you're not bad. It's okay. But still, like, I'm gonna share with you, you know, some kind of an aim training. Like, I'm gonna watch this VOD one more time because I already forgot what I saw on a defender side in terms of your mechanics. And then I'm gonna share with you some aim training. Overall, I think that if you apply the tips and rules that we talked about during this VOD review, and if you follow the training that I'm gonna share with you after this VOD review, if you follow the aim training that I'm gonna share with you after this VOD review, and if you apply everything from my ranked playbook on Discord server, like, you're gonna get Immortal 3 until the end of this year, 100%. Like, until the end of this year, you are Immortal 3, 300 to 400 rank rating, 1,000,000%. When it comes to Radiant, I don't know. Let's first get to Immortal 3, you know. let's go step by step. I'm kind of sad. I'm kind of sad that this VOD was mega boring on the attacker's side. I expected more on the attack, to be honest. Like, the rounds were kind of, like, way too clean, and then there's not. He can change his setups a bit more, mindset, and how he was pushing, but nothing better than he lost this match on the defender side, not the attack, to be honest. But okay, guys. Subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. Tell me which VOD we should do next. You know, like, which agent, which map you want to see. I have a second YouTube channel where I upload all of these live VOD reviews. Like, I do them for 3, 4, 5 hours sometimes. Like, you have like 110 free live VOD reviews right now. I think it's 110. So that's like what? Around 300, 400 of free coaching. Not really the best coaching because I hold, you know, during these live VOD reviews, I'm always holding myself back. Private coaching is a private, that's the good shit. So if you want to get coached by me, join my Discord server. Right, tomorrow I'm organizing a giveaway for coaching, Valorant points, and on every and for the for coaching and Valorant points on every 15 new Twitch subs, we have those giveaways. Join my daily live streams on Twitch. When I say daily, I mean every single business day. And when I say every single business day, sometimes it's like 4 days per week, sometimes 3, sometimes 7. Sometimes I stream for 15 hours, sometimes for 2. So good luck catching me. Like, join my Discord. Like, I'm gonna notify you. And other than that, thank you for watching, and I'm gonna see you in the next one.